day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, man. You too. Wall Street Joe in the house. Okay, we got to take a break. When we come back, Mark in West Hartford has some new information when it comes to Selden Cove, and I'm saving it for 3 o'clock. Folks, you do not want to miss this. This is absolutely insane. What happened yesterday is darker than we thought. It is. It's really, really dark. And we've kind of been in this arena already, but what he is reporting now, really, it's like, I don't even know if it's neglect or they just don't give a damn. But what he was able to find out about that Selden Cove, apparently there is a campsite at Selden Cove where campers allegedly were, who were not informed that the water that they may swim from or fish from was about to be invaded with a toxic chemical. We'll talk to him about that when we return. Go nowhere. Let's get to the WTIC newsroom with my good friend, John Silva. Hey, John.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
68 degrees, cloudy skies at 3 o'clock. We've got the cloudy skies. We'll keep the clouds. It's breezy, too. All the forecast details coming up. It's breezy because Hurricane Aaron is moving away from the East Coast, but still creating issues from the Carolinas to here in New England.
The rain's not an issue with this. So many of our most impactful hurricanes the past several years, we've been dealing with the deadly inland flooding. That's not an issue with this. It's going to stay offshore. But the winds today, tropical storm force, we felt that. And these waves will continue to pound this shoreline and all the way up through New York and southern New England. So everybody who lives near the Atlantic getting a piece of this.
That is meteorologist Rob Marciano in Kitty Hawk. The Block Island Ferry Express has canceled service from New London today and tomorrow. Facebook post says they should be able to resume service in time for the weekend. Appeals court has thrown out a penalty against President Trump for exaggerating his wealth.
The New York Appellate Court threw out a $500 million penalty in a civil fraud case against President Trump and others on Thursday, ruling that the fine was excessive while saying they were divided on the merits of the case, which was brought 3 years ago by New York Attorney General Letitia James. Her office alleged that President Trump oversaw a scheme to deliberately mislead companies he was in business with about the values of properties he owned and Mr. Trump's overall net worth.
Correspondent Graham Cates. Trump says it's a total victory. The Attorney General is promising an appeal. Investigation is continuing into a fire at a Rocky Hill restaurant that left one firefighter injured. Blaze broke out around 2:42 this morning. The Saybrook Fish House over on the Silestine Highway. They found a fire in a utility room in the rear of the restaurant. Firefighters attacked and managed an interior attack. They were able to knock the fire down in relatively short order and hung around for hot spots till about 4:30 this morning. That firefighter suffered an undisclosed arm injury, was taken to the hospital for treatment. That blaze remains under investigation. New pressure on Israel to work toward a ceasefire with Hamas. Vicky Barker has that.
21 nations, including Britain, Canada, and France, have condemned Israel's approval of a major settlement project in the West Bank as unacceptable and a violation of international law. And in a separate development, 27 nations, including Britain, Germany, and France, have called on Israel to allow, quote, immediate, independent foreign media access into Gaza as Israel's offensive in the Palestinian territory ramps up.
Stay 3 big steps away from the curb at the bus stop. That's one back-to-school safety reminder from the Injury Prevention Center at Connecticut Children's in Hartford. Amy Watkins is program manager for Watch For Me CT.
Making sure parents tell kids at the bus stop, you want to, not be running and playing, stay away from the road, take some big steps back. When the bus arrives, we want parents to wait until the bus comes to a complete stop before they approach the bus.
Now, Watkins says the school bus is the safest way to get to school if you're driving the kids. She says watch for darting and dashing children at the school parking lot. Separately, she says parents and children should resist posting back-to-school personal information online, like name, school, and teacher's name. They can potentially be used by child predators. And forget the forget the Yankees and the Red Sox. The Fairfield National Little League team has taken the state by storm during its recent run at the Little League World Series in Williamsport. The boys came back to beat Nevada Wednesday 7-3. The win punches their ticket to Saturday's U.S. Championship tilt. A win there, and they advance to the International Championship on Sunday. Fairfield coach Brian Palazzola tells WTIC it's been a whirlwind, but he and the kids are savoring every minute.
I'm hearing from texts and calls, it's like we're the talk of town, but it sounds like it's bigger than that. And I couldn't be more prouder to represent our state, to be here. Our boys are loving it. Keep rooting us on.
Well, the Fairfield team is 4-0 in the tournament thus far. WTIC News Time is 3:04. Checking traffic. We've got delays on 84 East in West Hartford. Congestion between 44 and 51. Also, some busier traffic coming westbound out of East Hartford between exits 56 and 45. That's westbound 84. Late running road work in East Windsor, south on 91 between exits 44 and 42. Delays Windsor southbound into the city from 35A to 32. And we have busiest traffic out of Stamford on 95, so the northbound side between exit 6. That'll carry you right through to 17 in Norwalk. Let's check the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
Mostly cloudy and breezy for the rest of this afternoon. We'll head up to a high temperature of around 70 degrees and a few clouds around tonight. It will be breezy out there, low 52. We do have an area of high pressure building overhead tomorrow. That sets us up with a warmer day under a sunny to partly cloudy sky. The high tomorrow up to 82. Then clear skies and a little cool out there tomorrow night, low 58. Heading into Saturday, a beautiful start to the week and plenty of sunshine. The high Saturday, 86. Sunday turns out more humid with a partly sunny sky, with a high Sunday up to 81 degrees. And we do have a cold front approaching to start the work week. Monday, turning out mostly cloudy and humid. There will be a couple of showers and a thunderstorm around. High Monday of 80 degrees. Sunny to partly cloudy on Tuesday, pleasant and less humid, with a high on Tuesday of 78. This is meteorologist Isaac Longley in the WTIC Weather Center.
Wall Street, the Dow down 115, the NASDAQ down 58, and the S&P is down 18 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath.
High five.
You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm, totally natural.
Sweet. Thank you. Thank you. High five, everybody. High five.
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five.
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Erectile dysfunction affects nearly 50% of men over age 50. But even with so many men affected, finding a trusted provider to treat the condition isn't so simple. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice, and I'm excited to announce the opening of our newest location of Northeast Men's Health in Warwick, Rhode Island. As a Promenic affiliate, Northeast Men's Health can offer men with ED the latest treatment protocols, which are shown in medical studies to be effective in well over 90% of men. And unlike groups that only offer wave therapy or online pharmacies that just sell pills, we offer a variety of treatments to help get you the results you want. You should also know that Northeast Men's Health is a true medical practice, which means our providers have access to a complete range of treatment options to get you back on track. So call Northeast Men's Health today. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes a medical consult, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
Mystic, Hamden, Putnam. When you want local news, turn to WTIC News Talk 1080, reporting on the local stories that affect you. From Manchester to Mystic, Hartford to Hampton, and Putnam to Plymouth, one radio station has your local news and breaking news as it happens. WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen on your radio, smart speaker, and on your phone with the free Odyssey app. Reese on the Radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Sorry about that. I was running all over the place, Roland. My forgiveness. I totally didn't even tell you. I was trying to get something for the computer to make sure that things were working, and it was all over the place. And now I'm back. Anyway, Mark in West Hartford's on the line. We'll get to him in a quick second, but Jim is on hold, so I want to get to him first. Let's do him real quick. Jim is in Waterbury. How are you doing, sir?
Good, Reese. How are you doing?
I'm all right. What do you got?
And an early welcome to the communist state of Connecticut.
People's Republic of Connecticut, right?
Yes, it hasn't been the Constitution state for a long, long time. I've done many an editorial in the Old Republican on it. But I was going to say, if sometime, well, you're on the air, but all summer long they have a veterans get-together at Lake Bezic in Middlefield, Connecticut, and Middletown at Rover's Lodge, and it's put on by the Elks Club. They supply all the food.
Oh, okay.
And you got to try Neil's Donuts. They're the best in the state.
I don't know if my wife's going to allow me to have a donut.
Oh, your wife is more than welcome. She's a veteran. It's mostly us old Vietnam guys, but we welcome everybody, you know.
Absolutely. You know what? We will give it a shot. We've got to go down south. We're supposed to be, or we're invited, I should say, to a country club, and my wife has never been to one.
Right.
This is her first opportunity to do something hoity-toity, so we'll give her that opportunity.
Well, this isn't hoity-toity, but it ends September 11th is the last for this year. It's like all summer long, and then my brother-in-law teaches people how to kayak.
Oh, okay. You know, I like all of that. You know what? Let's make that happen. You know what? Stay on the line for me real quick, sir, and I will get some information for – we lost him? Darn it. Okay, we lost him by accident. Okay, we'll get to him in a second. All right, now, just so or just because this story is probably going to go in places that we didn't expect, but if you missed it yesterday, let me break it down for you. Mark in West Hartford, myself, Mark's friend Mark Mayer, the skipper. That's his new name, Mark. Get used to it. We get on Mark Mayer's boat, and he takes us out to Selden Cove. And the only reason why I didn't mention it was because it was kind of Mark, the skipper, just telling us what this region was and what that region was, so I can get to know parts of Connecticut. And as I'm doing it, you know, I'm taking notice. Oh, okay, that's over there. That's this. That's famous. You know, and as we're about to enter the cove, he really wants me to know this place where people camp. And it's just an island. There's a camping area with picnic tables and the whole nine. And we had gone past it for a little bit. In fact, skipper stops and casts a line a little bit because we're way ahead of the poison folks. Sorry. We're ahead of the guys who are about to put the, aquathol into the water. So we've got time to sort of get to know and survey the area. And skipper's telling me about that place where people go to camp, and it's remote and it's beautiful. And as I'm looking at it, I was like, well, I'm not really into camping, but if I were, this is a serene place to go. The water's beautiful and everything. And then we go in, and then of course, famously, you know what happened. We got video of it. You can find it at ReeseOnTheRadio.com. You go to Facebook and you can watch it there. All right, so we're there. Mark today has incredible news based upon that campsite. He had the wherewithal to think, what if somebody was on that campsite and they were about to dump this chemical in the water? How would they know if they were already there? I'll let Mark tell you the story about how it went about, but he's here with us now. Mark, this is really, really bad, if you think about it.
Well, I really wasn't expecting this one tentacle to reach out this far, but it was as innocent as this.
Okay.
if, first of all, I had to find the entity in charge of that island and handing out permits. So that took a little bit. I found out it was the Gillette Castle Parks and Rec Department. So I found their number and I called. And this is when I know I'm on something, because the nice lady who answered the phone immediately, I always identify myself. So I always tell them where I'm from. I tell them who I am. And as soon as I said, and these were the two questions, I told her how we were there yesterday and what we witnessed and all that. And then I just said, can you tell me, because we drove by this area where they normally camp, we didn't see anybody. Can you tell me if there were campers there and if they were notified that that application of Aquathol K, the chemical, were they notified that this application was taking place? Because that little beach area, as Mark pointed out, they fish and they actually could go in and do a little swim in there.
Sure.
And she goes, I am not sure why you're asking. And as soon as I hear a response like that, bingo, there goes one red flag. And then now all of a sudden we're getting put on hold. Of course, that's another red flag.
Mm-hmm.
And then she comes back. What I was told is that the state of – this is great. Listen, what I was told, if the state of Connecticut deemed it was necessary to notify the campers, they would have done it.
Ooh.
And I go, well, wait a second. Who's going to – like, who deems it that – so then she goes, no. And then I said, so you can't tell me if there's campers there. She goes, I don't believe I can give out that information. And, of course, I said, I'm not,
I don't want their names.
Them. No. And then, me, again, I asked, if they gave out any permits. Well, the next thing you know, get it put on hold again. Here comes this nice guy. I won't use his last name. Ray identifies himself. I eventually get it out of him. He's the park ranger.
Okay.
So he's in charge of a few parks, and he's in charge of this campground. And I asked him, were there campers there? And if so, were they notified? And he goes, yes, I assume so.
Ooh.
They're there all the time during the season. And I said, well, my question is, somebody's got to know. I would imagine public safety is a thing, right? When you want to know. So then he starts telling me, he goes, as far as notification, there's public outreach in the news and the newspaper, or you can reach out to DEEP to get that information. I go, well, of course, you know who I brought up. While we were there, and we mentioned it yesterday, we came across a fisherman who lived there, who fished in that cove all the time, and was unaware that that chemical was being dumped yesterday. So I told him that story. I go, well, I beg to differ. I said, in fact, we've got, we had an experience where it told us differently. Here is somebody who lived there, fishes there, and was like almost, remember what he said? Oh, it looks pretty cool, until we told him what they were doing.
Yeah.
Nobody sees fan boats, right? Unless you're watching TV and Marlon Perkins, right? If you're of that age.
Yeah.
So now he refers me. He says he's got to call me back because I said that, that wasn't going to be good enough for me. And then, he gave me this name. His name is James Fowler. He's supposed to be the communications guy with DEEP, I guess. So I emailed him. I actually sent you the email with just very pertinent questions. I had two questions, and of course, when you make me do this, now I've got more questions than just two.
Yeah, but the part that really makes this. Let me interject here. Here's the part that really makes me suspicious. Is that one? If you're in the parks department and someone is, camping at that remote island, right? Because I do know this, there is a record, not public, but there is a Parks Department record that says this individual is here. Now, the only reason why I know this, Mark, is that when Roseanne and I got married, we got married at a neighborhood park, and we knew the people at the park. We know one of the guys who worked at the Parks Department. He gave us numbers to call. We had to call them to find out if we could hold the wedding there. They told us that in order to do that, we had to apply 6 months in advance. That's not camping. We're talking about a wedding that was going to be 45 minutes, and we had to do it 6 months in advance. Well, we had 2 weeks to get married. Do you know what they told us? They said, enjoy your wedding. So in essence, because they knew us and because they knew who we were and the people that we knew, they said, hey, just enjoy your wedding and have a good day. I was like, well, wait a minute. I want to know, do I have to sign any paper? And he goes, do I have to say it again? Enjoy your wedding. He gave me hint. Just do it
over the phone. Yeah,
just do it. You
wink,
wink, wink, nod, nod. Go get married because they don't want to have anything to do with it. Just get in, get out. Now, they are giving me the approval to do that, but the deal is that if you're holding any event in a public park, it is on the record. They know. There is no confusion when you ask, hey, did anyone reside at that campsite at the time they were putting poison in the water? They know it. All they have to do is look at that particular docket, and they know who's camping there. Whether they showed up or not, that's, of course, that's to be determined. It could be a situation where people canceled without informing them because they don't have to. But they know they can look on a docket that says, yes, 2 families were there, 3 families were there. By the way, how many families fit on that island? Was it 2 or 3? No, 4. Skipper said 4.
I thought he said, up to like 4 to 6, I thought he said.
Yeah. So we know that they know, but the fact that they had to keep putting you on hold to be scrambling sounds like they don't have answers to this, and somebody may have dropped the ball.
Mark just texted me. By the way, his last name's Maher, but he gets a kick out of being called Mayor. So Mark just texted, that campground is so exclusive, and because it's so limited, it's like booked a year ahead of time. So this guy, Ray, kind of said it like there's somebody there all the time in the season, which is we're in the season.
Right.
And I find it funny because on my street I got 2 of the signs. I'm thinking, like, look at the state makes these landscapers put out, as soon as they're done putting their weed control on a lawn, they're obligated by law. They'll get in trouble if they don't. And then I'm thinking what we witnessed yesterday coming out the back of that fan boat, and to think that possibly after we left, maybe a family went down there, maybe they allow pets and maybe children over there. Can you imagine?
Yeah, and then not to be told
coming in and out of there.
Right, and then not to be told while they're sitting in that water or sitting, on that island. That is, again, to me, it's mind-boggling because it's so remote, it's so quiet, and I think the other thing that we have to concern ourselves with, and I know you're talking to some people in the mainstream news media, we won't say whom yet until they actually do the report because they, for some odd reason, they want to be anonymous until they do. I think the part that people are starting to notice now is the fact that we found out that Aquathol K is not to be shipped or distributed into the state of Connecticut. And there it was. We looked at it, and Solitude told us they were using it. We saw the boxes with the word on it that said what the element was that they were putting in the water. And again, we have on good authority that the chemical is not allowed in the state.
So one thing that I keep, and because they keep repeating it, now I'm really interested. I want to go, and this is going to take a lot of research. I'm going to ask, and I just found out through my media source that James Fowler I was referred to and emailed, he's the PIO. So you know how that works. These guys know all of them. In fact, my friend's a PIO, and, they get paid to do a lot of diversionary tactics. Let's see if I get that. But I want to now find out because they keep going to this public information like they've been so transparent. I want to see where, and I'm going to have them provide me. Okay, tell me. Like he said, he's directing people. Oh, they could go to the deep site. Who does that? I've gone camping. I've never looked up deep before.
Yeah, no one is. Right. Listen, I don't care where you are, where you ever been. No one is actively searching the EPA or the deep site to find out information about waterways in their community. And I said this to you on the phone earlier. Think about the cover that the Army Corps of Engineers is giving itself, because when someone says, "Hey, did you inform the public?" they can say, "Yeah, we released a press release," even though the Connecticut Insider is the only place where it was published, and it may have been published in any other publication. That's no way to inform a public that you're about to put poison in the water. It's just not the way to do it. But they have that covered by saying we made it public. It's how we found out.
Yeah, and you know what? I posted something on X referring to a statement you made on your Facebook page.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I really zoned into it because you kind of said, you were a little skeptical when people aren't as, open and transparent and dialoguing. But then again, you actually said, well, because they're just used to doing what they do.
Right.
Without questions.
Right.
So that was really powerful. I listened to it. I go, I got to post that because, and again, I tagged the local media. Like, I'm not downplaying it. You're a radio guy. Where were all those TV cameras yesterday?
Should have been there.
The optics of it alone.
Should have been there.
They could have easily dropped the boat in the water. They know people. They could have came with us. But
I think
unbelievable. Listen,
I think that it resonated with people. And again, good on you and Mark for assisting me in doing this, because, look, and I got this a lot from a lot of people on social media and a lot of people sending me messages. One young lady in particular, I'll paraphrase what she wrote. She says that she doesn't know anybody in the news business in Connecticut who would have gotten their butt on a boat and went out there to see it hands on. And she was so appreciative of the fact that the three of us went and did it, because there are a lot of guys who talk the game, but the fact that we actually went out there to see it for ourselves, to find a way to do it, that's what they want. And I think that that's what this state in the community wants, is to have people who are not just looking out for them by rabble-rousing on the air, but are actually going out there to these things and getting the information that they deserve. And the information they deserve is just the truth. And that's why we were there.
Yeah, so I'll leave you with this. I'm going to make an attempt to go tomorrow. In fact, I'm going to talk to Mark now and see if there's any way for me to go without a boat, because I don't know if it's that remote, the island, or if there's some kind of passage. But I'm going to try to make my way. I don't know how I'll do it. I'm going to try.
Okay.
But I'm going to do my homework first. I'm not just going up there blindly. I'm going to try to make it to the campsite.
Okay,
and
good.
See if I can find some people and tell them what's going on and if they knew about it.
You know what? If you don't listen, what you can do is this. If they don't want to be on camera, just record them with your phone down and just say you want an audio representation of what they know, and tell them you'll keep their information anonymous. And just do that just so you can get some what's the name. Just let them know you'll protect their identity. You just want to get them on the record on whether or not they knew that the spraying was going on, and that's all you need.
Yeah, and you know what? The firefighter and me, we don't exploit victims or potential victims. We just utilize them to mitigate stuff. So, yeah, I have no intent to exploit them. It's just really about public safety.
Exactly.
Thanks again, brother.
Hey, Mark, come on, man. We're partners in this, so I appreciate you, man. Thank you for assisting me in this.
Hey, wait. I gotta make the older audience laugh. Remember what I told you? Brad Davis used to go around with this other guy, Sablone, and they used to have this show in the 70s. So it was a white guy and a black guy, and they called it, and the show was What's Happening? Yeah. And, they were pretty hip back then in the early 70s. So I said, me and you, we'll be What's Not Happening, and then we'll report it. How's that?
Absolutely.
So I know I need at least one person. At least there's one old guy listening right now laughing. Yeah. Talk to you later.
You got it, sir. Thank you. Mark in West Hartford, ladies and gentlemen. And again, look, from the moment that he was out there putting his information out there, doing these stories, covering this news day to day, has been impressive in my view. And, I said to myself, I remember telling my wife, I said, this guy in West Hartford is doing a lot of independent journalism. And all he cares about is just exposing the stuff that people won't talk about. He's so frustrated. I wonder why. And I reached out to him and I found out why, because he just couldn't understand why other people weren't covering it. And my first conversation with Mark was, don't rely on them to do the work that you can do. Just do it, because people are going to appreciate it. And I think in the 3 years that I've been here, Mark's notoriety for getting to the bottom of his stuff has grown, and it's great to have him as a partner. I asked this guy, hey, how can we get a boat? And he did what needed to be done. I love you, Mark. I said that, man. It was a great, hanging out with you yesterday and getting this stuff to the people. And from what I've heard so far, they appreciate it. So let's keep doing it, and let's, as they say, kick butt and take names. We got to take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views. My wife just brought me snackies, and she's standing outside in the hallway talking to Jerry from Between Rounds. So anyway, we'll be back. I love you guys. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
Here at ALO, we believe hearing solutions to your main drain problems shouldn't cost a thing. That's why we offer free mainline drain camera inspections and free estimates on sewer line repair or replacement. Contact the trusted professionals at Aiello when you call, click, or text today and say, hello, Aiello. Call for details. Licensed for safety. HIC 628926, P102776688, S104062441, S3308699, SM3004646, E1185643.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind-in-payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 3:30, Hartford temperature, 68 degrees, cloudy skies. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Advisories and warnings remain in effect as Erin, a Category 2 storm with 105-mile-an-hour winds off the Atlantic coast, churns east. Advisories and warnings for high surf and dangerous rip currents remain in effect up through New England. Fire at the Saybrook Fish House in Rocky Hill overnight. Happened around 2:45. That's when firefighters got the call. One firefighter suffered minor injuries. There's no word yet on the cause. An appeals court throws out a massive civil fraud penalty against President Trump. 5-judge panel ruled today in New York's lawsuit accusing Trump of exaggerating his wealth. The decision comes 7 months after he returned to the White House. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu plans to expand Israel's military operation in Gaza City despite opposition. An official says Netanyahu is expected to give final approval during an upcoming security cabinet meeting today. Police have arrested the man they say dragged a Massachusetts state trooper who was fleeing a domestic violence incident on Tuesday. 23-year-old Mason Payne was found holed up in a motel in Stamford. He's facing a number of charges. And the Fairfield National Little League team will play in the U.S. Championship on Saturday. The boys came back to beat Vegas on Wednesday 7-3. They'll play the winner of the Vegas-South Carolina game today for the right to advance to the World Championship of the Little League World Series. WTIC News Time is 3:31. Here's the forecast.
Well, as we head through the rest of this afternoon, we'll see a good amount of clouds out there, a few peaks of sunshine. It will be rather breezy as well. High temperature up to around 70 degrees, partly cloudy and breezy tonight, low 52. Then we do have high pressure building overhead tomorrow. That sets us up with a warmer day under sunny to partly cloudy skies, high up to 82. We'll clear out tomorrow night, low 58, and plenty of sun on Saturday with a high up to 86. This is meteorologist Isaac Longley in the WTIC Weather Center.
From the WTIC 24-hour traffic network, look out for a crash in Rocky Hill. It is 91 south between exits 24 and 23 with the left lane closed. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Never liked braces? Invisalign is an alternative that may be right for you. It's removable, more comfortable, and reduces the risk of developing cavities and gum disease. Get your dream smile discreetly and easily. Call Columbia Dental at 860-645-0111.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius. Or two half-geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
We get it. Attention spans just aren't what they used to be. Heads in social media and eyes on Netflix. But what do people do with their ears? Well, for one, they're listening to audio. Americans spend 4.4 hours with audio every day. Oh, and you want the proof? Well, you just sat through this ad that's now approaching 30 seconds. What could you say to a potential customer in 30 seconds? Let Odyssey put together a media plan tailor-made for your unique marketing needs. Advertise with Odyssey. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-969-0686 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-969-0686. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-969-0686 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-969-0686.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-885-9700. 800-885-9700. That's 800-885-9700.
Hi, I'm Jerry Puya from Between Rounds Bakery Sandwich Cafe. It is time to sip into summer at Between Rounds. Like frozen smoothies, we've got strawberry, peach, and mango for you to try. Like iced teas, choose from blackberry sangria, black pearl, red berry and floating lemon, as well as strawberry. All start with freshly brewed Lipton tea. Like coffee-based drinks, we offer fresh brewed iced coffees, several frozen coffee drinks, and of course, cold brewed coffees. Our current featured cold brew is bourbon vanilla. Finally, if you prefer, we offer iced chai. So, you see, come to Between Rounds hot and leave Between Rounds cool. Between Rounds Bakery Sandwich Cafe in Vernon, Manchester, South Windsor, East Windsor, and Tolland. We'd love to see you. Visit BetweenRoundsBagels.com for franchise information and to order online.
Savory, flavory, bagel, deli, and bakery. Between Rounds. Between Rounds. Between Rounds. Between Rounds.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
I don't want to say anything, but it's a birthday. I'm sure you knew that already, and I'm sure you've got a wonderful present. 100 years, by the way.
Hey, we're back. It is Reese on the Radio, and I've got a good friend in the building that is here. None other than, what are you, like, are you CEO or are you, what are you? You got to come up closer because they're going to kill me if you do. You are the president. Why is this? Oh, that's why, because your microphone's down. All right, you are the president of Between Rounds, Jerry Puya. I've always had a problem pronouncing your name. Say it again for me. Puya. Who is the president of Between Rounds in the house and a great sponsor of the Reese on the Radio program, and plenty of our proud family members here at WTIC and Odyssey altogether. You've absolutely been a beautiful partner for me and for everybody else here. So that's why when I saw you in the building, I wanted to have you on. We talked about it briefly, you and I mentioned it on the air. But since you're in the building, I kind of want to have a conversation with you about it, even against the wishes of the folks at WTIC who are probably going to say, "You didn't commit, did you?" We're not committing yet. But you had a great idea that I love because I want to do it. Want to tell everybody, or should I?
No, I'll let them know.
Okay, tell them. What's your idea?
I think it would be amazing if you came to our stores. We invite all your listeners because we get a lot of people that come into the store that talk about your show. I mean, they've won the certificate for free bagels, and they're like, "Oh, my God, that guy's fantastic." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." So it's like, and then sometimes, because we had dinner in Texas, and they say, "Have you ever met him?" And I'm like, "Well, let me show you some pictures." And I'll show him pictures of you and Roseanne, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you could tell they're in love." I mean, this is like, it's real. It's real.
Yes, we are. Roseanne is in the building too, filming now. Look at her smiling. But you came up with this idea because so many people were talking about who again come to the to Between Rounds, and of course all the locations, South Windsor, Vernon, and Manchester, by the way. Go pick up a smoothie. I'm telling you, I beg of you, get a strawberry smoothie. Unless you like something else. I had, by the way, the strawberry smoothie. You better never get rid of that.
No.
You're not? That's official.
It's official. That one's a regular, and we have some others that are pretty cool too, especially if you like coffee flavors or if you like a mocha flavor.
Really?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Jerry, no doubt.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you want to do this thing with the remote. I am down for it because I love remotes. I love it because my wife would probably say something like, "Boy, do you love an audience." Yes, I do. But it's a good opportunity to sort of feel the folks in the room, to get sort of a live track to respond to what I'm talking about. If I say something funny, you sort of get the response there, to even communicate with them and talk to them about what some of the issues are. It gives you an opportunity to understand the zeitgeist in Connecticut. Like, what are the stories that they resonate with on the show or they'd like to hear more about? Gives me a great temperature.
I'm sure. I can't wait to talk to some of these folks, too, because some of them sound like we could strike up a nice conversation.
Yeah.
Especially when you're off the air, you could talk differently about things.
Oh, absolutely. I think just as people do sit around drinking coffee, having a bagel, having a sandwich and stuff like that, having that atmosphere where they're being somewhat entertained, engaged, talked to, and respected. I think that's the thing that really resonates. And you really care about this community. You really care about Connecticut overall. You don't just share with them a product. You really share a family business. And one of the things I loved about meeting you when we had dinner was you telling me the story about, your dad and your brother and how they started and you guys took it over. Hearing numbers like 91, like when the store in South Windsor sort of I guess, was that the renovation or was that the beginning?
No, that was the beginning there, but it all started with the store in Hoboken, New Jersey.
Hoboken, New Jersey.
And
right.
that was my father and brother in 1989.
Yeah.
I look in the mirror and I'm like, where did those years go?
Yeah.
But the memories are still strong.
But the beauty of it is, and I'll tell you, knowing you gives me a sense of pride, because I consider you a friend. And your involvement with us and having I kind of consider you family. I think we've sort of joined this brotherhood, if you will, this unspoken brotherhood that just sort of happens between guys. But listening to your story, I feel like I'm a cheerleader to your story, to a cheerleader of your mission. Hearing about your dad starting in Hoboken and growing that into what I saw. And then when I showed up at the South Windsor showroom or store, we were about to leave after we saw Sharon, and Chris walks up, your son, and says, "Hey, man, you leaving without saying hello?" And I immediately jumped out, and it was like seeing my nephew. I was like, "Hey, buddy," and just, give him a hug. And walking through that gave me a sense, or a walk through your life and what Chris has now taken on. This has gone from your dad to you to your son.
Yeah.
Being in the middle of that is awesome. Like, it's a beautiful story in all of that. Can you share a little bit about like how you got your son in an age today when kids don't want to do the family business? How'd you do it?
Well, I mean, first of all, he's been in it since forever,
Right.
because that's what you do when you own the business. Your kids are involved. And when he went off to college, he always knew the opportunity was there. But we would never, ever force him to do something that he may not have wanted to do. My brother did make a proposal to him at a point where he was given a job from the company he was going to be working for up in Boston. And that was like, if we could afford to pay you what you're going to be making at that company that you're working for, would you want to work for us? Now, that's not a question I would have ever asked him.
Wow.
But my brother asked it, and unequivocally he said yes. And afterwards, I had a talk with my brother, and I'm like, that was an emotional moment for me, because it was so nice to hear him say that. So he worked for about 6 years for a company up in Boston. And then he realized, he's like, working up here, it's like everything is so expensive. I have such an opportunity back home. I'm ready. And that's when he decided, he talked to me. He says, "Hey, I'm ready. I want to come into the business." My wife and I were like, wow, this is what it's all about. Because, we were contemplating, what do? Do we end up selling the business, or does it thrive? And thank God he wants to do it. And I am so proud of him and my daughter too, because, my daughter made a comment. She goes, "Yeah, you never know. After some period, maybe I'd want to do that." And I'm like, look, that door is open for you, but you're doing well where you're at now. You follow your path. And when you're ready, the door is open.
It's such a legacy that you guys are leaving here. It's great to be a part of it. I've never, in my time anywhere, I've never had the opportunity to see that and to actually experience it in real time, or as close as I've been so far with you folks. And you give me inspiration. One thing I always wanted for my kids was to follow in my footsteps and take over a sort of radio for me. What parent doesn't, if they own a business, saying, "I'd love to pass." It's kind of the reason why they started. It's like, I want to leave a legacy for my children. To know you, to be a friend of you and watch you do it, I have such a sense of pride, and I have nothing to do with it other than we're cool, but I feel like I'm a part of it, because that's what you brought here to WTIC, and you brought the Reese on the Radio, is a family business that everyone can and should and loves supporting. We really do love you, and we really, really do love you being a part of this family. I know you got other friends, I know you got other buddies, but me personally, I love you here. And I couldn't imagine any other partnership. It's the greatest thing that I've experienced here so far.
Well, I love it. Thank you. Thank you. And Roseanne. Thank you.
Exactly. And forget about it. She loves just hearing about that she could get a bagel on demand now. That she, if there's any way to that woman's heart, it is always the swag.
Oh,
it is always, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Out of me. Tell me what else you got going on, if I may, before you get out of here, because I know you got something to promote.
Yeah, one of the things we were just doing is cutting some commercials for next month. So you're going to see some cool things coming. We've got this new sandwich we're calling. It's a breakfast sandwich. It's going to be called the Becca. It's going to be bacon, egg, cheese, a chipotle sauce, and it's just going to be unbelievable. It's got avocado.
Okay.
So it's bacon, egg, cheese, the chipotle sauce, and avocado on a croissant.
Okay. Called the Becca.
Nirvana.
I like it. Who invented this, if I may ask?
Well, we actually worked with some folks from the Hellman's Corporation, and they said, "Hey, let's try some things unique." So they put together these things for us, couple of different recipe items, and we've had this one on the back burner for about 3-4 months, and it's time to introduce it.
You're always moving, you're always shaking, never stop. And like I said, it's a partnership that I love. But then again, I think of it more than a partnership because I to be honest with you, I know we have a business relationship, but when I hang out with you, I never feel that way. You endure 4 hours of me yapping your family's ears off. So I think that right now it is fair to say that you and I are brothers from a different mother. Yeah, that's right. There you go. We got to take a break. Listen, make sure you check out Between Rounds. Go to any one of their locations, South Windsor, Vernon, and in Manchester. You can also pick them up if you want to bring them home. They are at all Big Y locations. And
we're in some ShopRites.
Some ShopRites.
Yeah, we're in a bunch of the Highland Park Market. Ice Chopper Market 32. There are some there.
I got to ask you this. I hate to cut you off, but I got to ask you this. So talking to Chris and saying that you guys at the warehouse, or at least where the bakery is, says that you guys are bursting at the seams. You guys going to grow? Like, are you looking to grow?
We are, and that's why my son is there. Because you know what? You reach a point where you're like, I can't do it alone anymore. And my brother and I are like, oh, thank God this kid's involved.
That's a good sign, right?
That is the plan. Yes, this is a good problem.
But let me tell you why, and this is something I want the audience to convey to the audience. We hear a bunch of stories all the time about businesses not being able to survive in Connecticut, be it policy, from up top and any other regulations or what it was. A success story can happen, one, if you have the backing of the audience that you serve or the customer that you serve. And you guys, again, being this family business, as long as you've done it, figuring out what works and what doesn't, accepting your mistakes where they are. And as my wife likes to say, what is it? Adjust fire. That's her thing. You guys adjust fire to that, and you do it immediately, and you don't look backwards. No. You guys always look forward, and it's great to watch. And every time I see you, you got a new idea that you're trying. So
they say overnight success typically takes about 30 years.
So
here we are.
That's true. In the words of what's that guy's name who was on Brooklyn Nine-Nine? What's the actor's name? I can't remember, but he had a movie out. It's called Never Stop, Never Stopping. So it's a silly phrase, but that's what you do. You never stop, never stopping. And you should never stop. And I'm glad that Chris is on board. So you can, when you're going to retire, you're going to not talk about it.
No.
You're not going to retire?
If you find a job you love, you're never looking for work or never. Yeah, to me, I'm very happy doing it. I'm going to work less, and we're going to travel more.
Okay.
And Chris is going to work hard.
You heard him, Chris. You heard him. Okay, we're going to take a break. I didn't realize what the time it was. Jerry Puya, of course, from Between Rounds, our proud sponsor, family member, friend. He is just family friend member. I'm just going to say that. People,
Thank you.
I'm actually giving away the goods, but I don't care because you're my brother. I love you, man.
Thank you.
We'll be back. Stick around. More news, more views than you can shake a stick at. We've got headlines and the stupidest thing I read today right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Life unfolds in ways you never quite expect. Starting a new business, getting remarried, hurt on the job, or through personal injury. Each time you're left searching for someone new to trust. But what if you had a full-service law firm that knows you and a firm that can represent all of your legal needs? With BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Visit bpslawyers.com. BPS Lawyers, your lawyers for life. Proud full-service law partner of UConn Athletics. Nick Payne-Dearis is responsible for the content of this ad.
Low testosterone affects many men today, even men as young as 30. But finding someone you can trust for quality low-T treatment isn't so easy. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice. And that's why I'm pleased to announce the opening of our newest location of Northeast Men's Health right here in Warwick. As a Promedic affiliate, Northeast Men's Health has the experience and expertise to get you the right treatment for your particular medical situation. At Northeast Men's Health, we're experts in treating low testosterone. In fact, we've successfully treated thousands of men for low T and have seen the amazing impacts low T treatments have. If you're like most men, you'll sleep better, have more energy and improve mental clarity, get better gains in the gym, and your sex drive will likely improve as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you.
Retirement should be about living, not worrying. At Retirement Income Source Scranton Financial Group, we build custom portfolios designed to generate steady income through interest and dividends, so your money works for you. Call us at 855-930-6293.
Investment advisory services offered by Sound Income Strategies, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisory firm. The Retirement Income Source and Sound Income Strategies are associated entities. Retirement Income Source with David Scranton is a paid program.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place, so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. openphone.com/TRY.
It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. It's Reese on the Radio. All the news that's fit to spit, and we always, as I like to do, make sure that we are staying at the top of all current events. If I do a story on this network, I do my best to get the people involved on the program immediately. And as you know, yesterday we talked about the story from 2018 with a young man named Jay Allen, if I'm correctly pronouncing that. And this man died at the hands of the corrections department back in 2018. And Attorney General William Tong is fighting the release of the video that shows what took place that led to that young man's death. And the person who wrote the article is here with us now, and we're going to talk to him. We're going to have him stick around for about an hour to get some details, one, about what he does, what his job is, but what he's trying to do to bring attention to this story that the craziest of people are ignoring. And his name is Devon Ward. He is the ombudsman who has gotten a lot of notoriety as the ombudsman of the Corrections Department, handed that job by Governor Lamont, who is also pretty silent about the death of this man, that we need to get to the bottom of. This is a tragedy in the sense of no one seems to care other than the family, and the people who tell us they care about the most vulnerable are silent or are putting up oppositions to this. Now, I got to tell you, I have a reputation on this network by a lot of folks, especially in the black community, that say that I don't care about the black man. He don't care about the black community. And they know damn well that I do. I just don't care about him in the way that they tell me or is prescribed to me that I'm supposed to. But everybody knows that this story is wrong. Everybody knows that this death wasn't tragic. It was committed. A crime was committed. If a coroner says that it's a homicide and you find out that somebody has a bruised liver, when you find out that there may be evidence in this video that suggests that Jay Allen did not resist these 4 officers who injected him with a chemical that was, in essence, designed to slow down his heart rate while he sits with a bag over his face and sprayed with pepper spray, they killed him. I say that with confidence. And then when you find out that William Tong, a guy who wasn't even responsible, a guy who wasn't even in charge as the Attorney General, is fighting to keep that information from the public, it sounds dirty. And in this case, it sounds that way because it is. We've got Devon Ward coming up. Stand by. Go nowhere. You don't want to miss this interview because we're going to get to the bottom of this. without a doubt. Let's get our first check of weather and traffic. Our good friend Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, if you're heading on the southbound side of 91, you got delays 36 to 35, again 34 down to 32 A and B, and you're slowing again from 28 down to 25 S and N, the Putnam Bridge exit in Wethersfield. If you are traveling into Meriden, 91 southbound, a little tight, 19 down to 17. Northbound 91's moving well, Cromwell through downtown, up into Windsor right now. If you're traveling on the westbound side of 84, you're slowing 56 Governor Street out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound slowing about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue down into the Bulkley Bridge. 291 through 84 look good. 2 westbound slowing East Hartford 1D up to the 84 West merge. 9 northbound Middletown slowing at the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound in Waterbury, you've got delays 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound slowing 17 up to 18. And again, you got some slow traffic as you move by exit 25A down in toward the Mixmaster, down toward the 691 interchange. Southbound on the Parkway delays approaching 60 down to 59. South 95 New Haven slows 46 down to 44. And 84 eastbound in Danbury tight 3 to 5. Again from 8 in Danbury out to 11 in Newtown. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Sponsored by Duke's Mayonnaise.
Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
WTIC weather.
Well, as we head through the rest of this afternoon, we'll see a good amount of clouds out there, a few peaks of sunshine. It will be rather breezy as well. High temperature up to around 70 degrees, partly cloudy and breezy tonight, low 52. Then we do have high pressure building overhead tomorrow. That sets us up with a warmer day under sunny to partly cloudy skies, high up to 82. We'll clear out tomorrow night, low 58, and plenty of sun on Saturday with a high up to 86. This is meteorologist Isaac Longley in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
4 o'clock Hartford temperature, 68 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. Well, Hurricane Erin is staying a Category 2 storm. It's causing some rough surf and wind for parts of the northeastern coast as the storm moves away from the coastline. Odyssey New York reporter Sophia Hall has the latest.
Suffolk County Executive Ed Romaine says it's rough being by the water on Long Island.
I was out at Shinnecock, and as the wave broke, it broke right over me. So I know exactly the force of those high waves and what they can do.
He says if things get really bad, possibly Fire Island will be evacuated.
We're prepared for this hurricane as best we can. It will threaten Fire Island and some of our ocean beaches.
Flooding and erosion is expected at Long Island beaches. Sophia Hall for CBS News, New York.
The Block Island ferry has canceled trips from New London to Block Island today and tomorrow. Block Island Express in a post on Facebook says they're hoping to have service restored by the weekend. One firefighter suffered an arm injury battling an early morning blaze in Rocky Hill. Call came in just before 3. The Saybrook Fish House, that's on the Silestine Highway. Police noticed smoke emanating from the building's rear. Crews were able to knock the fire down in relative short order. There were no civilian injuries. That fire is still under investigation. Take extra care at the school bus stop. One of the back-to-school safety reminders from the Injury Prevention Center at Connecticut Children's in Hartford. Amy Watkins is program manager for Watch For Me CT. She says there are 3 big steps away from the curb at the bus stop. Keep kids safe. Don't move toward the bus until it is fully stopped. For parents who prefer to drive their kids to school, Watkins has this message.
We want to remind them that the school bus is actually the safest way for kids to get to school. It's big and yellow. It's got the big seats. It's very a safe way for kids to get to school. But if you absolutely have to drive your child to school, you want to keep in mind that busy drop-off and pick-up area can get a little chaotic and be dangerous.
She says watch for darting and dashing children in the school parking lot. Also suggests social media safety. Noting the trend of children posting back to school personal information, Watkins thinks parents should discourage that activity given the personal info that can be used by predators. Decades after they were imprisoned for killing their parents, the Menendez brothers are again asking for parole. Eric had a hearing today.
Convicted in 1996, the Menendez brothers have spent the last 30 years in prison. But after intense public attention to their case, the parole hearings have brought them closer than they've ever been to freedom. The Los Angeles District Attorney opposes their release, saying earlier this year that the brothers have not fully taken responsibility for their crimes.
If and when they do come fully clean, I believe that the parole board should very well consider them as eligible for parole.
L.A. County DA Nathan Hochman. The Fairfield National Little League team will play for the U.S. Championship on Saturday. The boys defeated Vegas 7-3 Wednesday to advance. Coach Brian Palazzola tells WTIC tries to remain calm in the dugout despite the intensity.
Keeps the boys composed, and we play our game. We're not out. 1 run's not going to do it. 2 runs not going to do it. 3 runs aren't going to do it. We've been down before. We know how to battle back.
A win Saturday sends them to the World Championship on Sunday. And President Trump will patrol the streets of Washington, D.C. tonight. Sort of. Linda Kenyon explains.
The president will join police and National Guard troops this evening in the nation's capital to get a first-hand look at how operations are going. Trump deployed troops in the district after declaring a crime emergency. The declaration has been a matter of dispute amid reports that crime is down. Many people who live and work in Washington, D.C. describe the operation as heavy-handed. Meanwhile, the administration is reporting multiple arrests along with the removal of several homeless encampments. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
Dow down 152 points, NASDAQ's down 72, S&P off 25. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath.
High five.
You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm? Totally natural.
Sweet. Thank you. Thank you. High five, everybody. High five.
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five.
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Hey, we're back, and it is just after 4 o'clock. And you know what? I forgot. Even though I had Jerry here, maybe I should have announced the winner then, but I totally forgot to. Let's announce that winner of the dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, located in South Windsor, Vernon, and Manchester. Because you can never say that enough. You should know where they are. The winner today is Gail W., out of Torrington, Connecticut. She is our winner. If you would like to win, folks, you got to go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. Fill out the form, put in your telephone number, put in your date of birth. You have to have both of those, or Roland will lose it on me. Okay, and make sure you spell everything correctly so that I can forward it to him. He gets mad at me every time I send him something. Today, I sent him something with a street name on it, but did not put road or street, and he was on my case. And please don't let me upset my Emmy Award-winning producer, because then he will walk on me and go to some place that will treat him with respect and dignity. So don't fail me. Make sure that you fill out the form. You can put in your telephone number and your birthday. I promise you, we will not call you even if you beg us. We will not call you. All right, so go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. Coming up in a minute, we are going to sit and talk to Mr. Devon Ward. He is the ombudsman over corrections for the state of Connecticut, hired by Governor Lamont, we'll talk to him about his job, but more importantly, about the death of this young man in 2018 and the lack of transparency related to his death. We'll get to all of that. Plus, we'll also talk about the protest that's happening tomorrow because I will be there for it. So if you want to be a part of it, you can. It'll be at the Hartford Supreme Court. Now let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford southbound, 91 delays 35 down to 32 IMB. Another bump down by exit 28. And a little slow traffic again between 24 and 23 in Rocky Hill. Northbound 91's a little slow at 24 for the Silas Dean Highway. After that, good ride. Hartford up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up approaching 56 Governor Street out to 47 Sigourney Street. 84 eastbound slowing a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84 OK. 2 westbound slowing 1D up to the 84 West merge. A little slow both sides of 9 approaching the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound Waterbury, you're slowing 17 to 18. Again, some slow traffic. 23 down in toward the 691 interchange in Cheshire. Westbound 84 is tied up 25A to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. If you're heading southbound on the Parkway, delays from 60 into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound a little slow. 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume by New Nordic. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair aisle at your local CVS.
WTIC weather.
Well, as we head through the rest of this afternoon, we will see clouds and even a few breaks of sunshine across the area. It will be rather breezy out there as well. The high temperature only up to 70 degrees and partly cloudy skies and still breezy out there tonight, low 52. As we head into tomorrow, we do have an area of high pressure building overhead. That sets us up with a warmer day under sunny to partly cloudy sky. The high tomorrow up to 82. Then we'll see clear skies for tomorrow night, low 58. Then a great start to the weekend as we head into Saturday. Plenty of sunshine. The high Saturday, 86. And we'll see a few more clouds out there on Sunday, but still a good amount of sunshine, turning more humid as well, with a high of Sunday up to 81. Right now it's 68 in Canton, 66 degrees in Hebron, and we're at 69 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Isaac Longley in the WTIC Weather Center.
Looking to retire with confidence? Get the answers you need. Tune in to Wall Street Sweeper with Russ Hackman. Sunday mornings at 9:30 on NewsTalk WTIC AM. Strategies, insights, and smart retirement talk. Don't miss it. Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
At Ayala Home Services, we handle hundreds of water heater issues a year. We know how much of an inconvenience no hot water is, and with our fully stocked trucks and warehouse, you can get your hot water back as soon as the same day. Contact the trusted professionals at ALO Home Services when you call, click, or text today and say, "Hello, ALO." Call for details. Licensed for safety. HIC 628926, P1027768, S10406241, S3 308699, SM 3004646, E1 185643.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-220-6409 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-220-6409. That's 800-220-6409. What do you have to lose? Call 800-220-6409. Again, 800-220-6409.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We are back and we are live. Reese on the Radio, WTIC News Talk 1080. We are speaking with, being visited by none other than Devon Ward, who is ombudsman over the Department of Corrections. He is we can't call you a former criminal defense attorney. You're
just say I'm an attorney.
Yeah, you're just an attorney.
Yeah.
Right, but you don't practice because now you work for the state.
Yeah, I don't litigate anymore.
You don't litigate anymore. Now that doesn't mean you can't go back to it.
I certainly can go back. Yes.
Do you have any what do we say, wishes to go back to it, or you think you're going to stay in sort of the public office space?
We'll see. We'll see what the future. My appointment ends in 2027, and so we'll see what happens then.
Okay. It depends on how effective you are, I guess, in that case, right?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Okay. You would stay if they asked, though.
I would always be of service to the state of Connecticut whenever they ask.
I like that response. I like that. You know exactly. Did you get my bio or something? How do you know to answer like that? I'm kidding. All right, so Devon is here. Can I give a little background on this? So you write this article the day before yesterday about, and I'm sorry if I forget his last name, J. Allen Jones. I know his last name.
You got it.
J. Allen Jones, and I was having problems pronouncing his first name because I had a feeling the apostrophe meant J. Allen.
You got it.
So you write this article about J. Allen Jones. You pretty much alert the public that this story still exists from 2018. Here we are in 2025, and we have still no resolution for the family to find out what happened on that fateful day in 2018 that led to J. Allen's death.
So his family's still litigating against the state of Connecticut. His family and other folks, including the ACLU, have tried to get this video released publicly because this case has been litigated for 7 years. So Jay Allen passed away in 2018. His mother filed suit on his behalf thereafter, and the state of Connecticut has spent 7 years and tens of thousands of dollars in resources and time litigating and defending this case. And I think just for that reason alone, we should be able to see what the subject of the conduct that they're defending is, right?
Yeah.
But my interest in the case particularly is that the medical examiner ruled this death a homicide.
Right.
None of the officers that were involved were punished by the Department of Correction. The Department of Correction did their own internal review. They said that everything that was done was in compliance with their training. And the only thing that the officers may have done was they didn't recognize that Jay Allen was in distress for almost 7 minutes. And they also mentioned that if the officers did not note that he was in distress, it wasn't intentional, which I don't think was necessarily appropriate for them to opine on. But
how would they know? They can't possibly know the intent of the officers.
Right. Well, so they interviewed the officers. They interviewed the officers. But I having done criminal defense work, having litigated against the state of Connecticut, against the Department of Correction, I thought this case was very unusual in that no one was ever charged with the crime.
Right.
Not assault 3, not manslaughter,
criminal negligence,
not negligent homicide.
Yeah.
No charges at all. The department says this was in compliance with their training, and some of these officers are still employed with the department, and so
at least one I understand is still a lieutenant. Is that correct?
That is my understanding.
Okay.
And so because of those reasons, I think that the public has a right to view this video. And so, like I said, the ACLU petitioned the court to try to get it released sometime last year. They were denied. And so tomorrow, the Connecticut Examiner, which is a publication here in Connecticut, has also petitioned the court. Attorney Alex Taubes, which is a brilliant attorney out of New Haven, is representing them and is going to argue tomorrow that the public has a right to view this video. And so William Tong, our Attorney General here in the state of Connecticut, has argued that the video shouldn't be released because it would jeopardize safety and security in our prisons, and that somehow or some way there's something proprietary about this video that the public shouldn't be allowed to see.
Did he use the phrase proprietary?
He did not. I used
okay.
I
got a waxing poetic on that one. No. All right, so let's get to that. By the way, if you're just joining us, Devon Ward is our guest. He is the ombudsman for Department of Corrections. We're talking about J. Allen Jones, who was the young man, 31 years old, who died in 2018. There's not been a lot of attention to his case, which is interesting. Now, what I always find, first of all, I am a strong believer in God, and I do not believe in coincidences. And when I read your story, to wake up this morning to read this article, I'm not sure if you're familiar. Are you familiar with Michael Marciano?
Very, very familiar.
Okay, I know you are. Well, he knew your telephone number when I texted him because I was looking for you, but I'd already spoken to you. So Michael writes this article the next day, and I even asked him, were you the impetus of his article? He says no.
Yeah.
He ironically was just writing the article because it was something he was interested in this week.
Yeah.
So we've had no real attention to J. Allen Jones's death for a long time. I looked up any articles I could about his passing, about his alleged murder, according to the coroner. And the people who are talking about it or paying any attention to it were like these gumshoe, out-of-pocket, sort of independent journalists. No WFSB, no, oh, God bless them, but no TNH, no NBC Connecticut. And the part about it that really blows my mind, and you know this, Devon, in the world of George Floyd and Michael Brown and all that stuff, the media eats stories like this up. It involves police and a black man, 4 against 1. It is victimhood 101. I abhor the idea of victimhood, but let's be honest, this man did not deserve what happened to him. And what makes even more problems for this story is that people who weren't even in office in 2018 are doing everything they can to avoid getting the simple thing, and that is the video that would exonerate these officers, because they tell us that it was all above board and the right things were done, and transparency should be the most important thing. Hey, if these guys did nothing, if everything is on the up and up, show everybody it was. But the fact that they said that there was a concern of public safety, and those were his exact words, William Tong, means that something is bad. Can I share something with you?
Sure, please.
I understand that there is somebody who may have seen this video and suggest that there was not resistance by J. Allen Jones.
So I want to clarify. I believe his family's viewed the video. I believe his family's been able to see the video. And his attorneys have certainly been able to see the video. The video is what in the law we call under seal.
Okay.
So it means that the state gave the family the video, gave his lawyers the video to be able to view for the purposes of litigating the case, but they can't share it with anyone outside of the court. And if they do, they could be held in contempt. They can be subject to sanctions. And so the family's been able to view the video. The lawyers have been able to view the video. So folks have viewed the video, and plenty of people in the Department of Corrections have viewed the video. I know there are folks in the governor's office that have been able to access the video. And so there is a community of people who have seen what happened, right?
Okay.
And so, I think...
Sorry, just because as you're saying that, in my head's spinning. So you say that somebody in the governor's office has seen it. We know that William Tong has seen it.
Sure.
But we know these men who have very openly talked about how the police department and corrections have treated people of color. I mean, Lamont in particular. After the events of George Floyd, over 1,500 miles away, this guy pretty much treated the police in Connecticut like they were culprits of the death of George Floyd and said, we got to change the way that we do things. They were all of a sudden in solidarity with African Americans and people of color in the state of Connecticut, and we have to make sure that that never ever happens in our state. And here we have an alleged case of that, and these guys are hiding that video from the public. What say you?
So this past session, I actually proposed a bill, and the governor signed it. Governor Lamont signed it. That actually creates some parity between our police officers and our correction officers. Up until July 1st of this year, correction officers weren't subject to the same disclosure and transparency requirements that we require of our police officers. And I thought that was patently unfair, right? They should be held to the same standards of transparency as we ask our other public
They
safety
are law
officials.
enforcement.
Right. And so, to your point, the governor was a catalyst in driving that police accountability bill. He signed the bill this past session, that passed this past session, related to accountability related to correction officers. But the compromise in that bill is that when folks die in corrections custody, the video doesn't get released to the public. It only gets released to the Ombudsman's office, Correction Ombudsman's office, the two chairs of the Judiciary Committee, and the governor's office.
Have you seen the video?
I have not. I have not seen the video.
Can you get access to the video?
I can get access to the video. I have subpoena power. I can subpoena the video, but I have not viewed the video yet.
Why not?
I've asked to view the video.
Okay, so you made a request.
I've made a request. I made a request last week to view the video. Usually when I make those requests, it does take a couple weeks for the agency to get it to me. So they didn't say no, but I have not viewed the video
Do
yet.
you think that there's some red tape or will be some red tape, or do you expect them to honor your request?
I imagine there may be some red tape because this is active litigation,
But you're not a litigator. You work for the state. You should have access, and you're the ombudsman to corrections. If anything, I think it's almost related to your job description to visit this video.
Well, so from a legal standpoint, it's tough, right? Because the laws that created my office passed in 2022.
Okay.
The powers that give me subpoena power for my office were created in July of this year. This incident predates that, right?
Okay.
And so from a legal standpoint, it's a little gray.
Yeah.
But again, DOC has not said no to me. They said, let us talk to the AG's office, let us talk to some folks, and we'll get back to you. But I think for me, where I'm coming into this is that in order for the public to have trust in our institutions, particularly our criminal justice system, folks have to know that when they are sentenced for whatever crime they may have been convicted of,
right,
that sentence is fair and that they will not be subject to additional punishment by the hands of their jailers, right?
Yeah.
And so the fact that, Mr. Jones was sentenced to a 10-year sentence, he was not sentenced to death, but yet he died at the hands of state actors, is very troubling to me. And it should be troubling to everybody in the state that's a flaw in the criminal justice system, right? We should have some trust in our public institutions that when someone is sentenced or convicted, that is the punishment, and it's not up to the jailers, it's not up to the Department of Corrections to add on additional punishments on top of what the court has sentenced somebody to. And so to me, that really is the crux of this. And then there's the other part that some of these officers may still be employed in the agency, is another, I think really troubling, thing that my office rightfully is looking into. And so, I think because this incident does predate the creation of my office, one of the things I'm interested in looking into is what were the other prior or current incidences of excessive force alleged against these individuals?
Yeah,
too,
right. If there's a record of this particular
Correct.
behavior, how they responded to it, or if there were any penalties or infractions that were set upon these individuals, or was it sort of swept under the rug?
Correct. And so, that's an area of concern for me. And I've thought deeply about why these individuals weren't charged with a crime, and so that's something I've been contemplating about, as well as even like I said, even an assault third or assault two charge. As a criminal defense attorney, I saw people routinely charged for things.
Yeah, you can be criminally charged for making a mistake.
Sure,
but which I think in a lot of ways, by the way, we're here in the studio with Devon Ward, who is the ombudsman for the Department of Corrections, and we're talking about the J. Allen Jones death investigation in Connecticut. By the way, I said Hartford. Is it Supreme Court?
It's the Superior Court.
Superior Court.
95
right.
Washington Street.
All right, 95 Washington Street, Hartford Superior Court, and I apologize. Thank you for correcting me on that one. There's that part, would really alleviate some of it if someone had been charged with something that probably would have taken off, it would have set some minds at ease that there's some accountability. But the fact that no one was charged, and then there's this, the objective to keep the video out of people's, viewing, it almost makes it even more suspicious, like they're adding problems that aren't necessary to this case. When we come back, because I got to go in a little bit, what I really want to delve in on, and again, because you're a civil rights attorney.
Sure.
And aside from the fact that a story like this is in your wheelhouse, something bothers me. I'm going to tell you that, what the question is a little bit, but I'm going to take this minute to explain to you, because I know you know nothing about me.
Okay.
All right? I am a conservative Republican. I started when I was 10 years old.
I've heard.
Okay?
Yeah.
I have been accused of anything and everything as being a race traitor and Uncle Tom and the likes. I don't care. That doesn't bother me. So what? I don't care, but that's what I've been described as. But my job is to do this, and that is to get to the truth, because I believe that in protecting everybody, I don't care about your color, I don't care about your political leanings and about that. But when someone has clearly done you wrong, I am a champion to get them justice, or at least there to be accountability. The reason why this story may be against what some people think or say about me, they're missing the point, is that Jay Allen was serving a 10-year crime. For a 10-year crime 10-year bid for a crime that he committed. But you're right, he wasn't sentenced to death. And that's why this is important to me. His color means nothing. What happened was wrong, and we need to get to the bottom of that. That's why we're having this discussion. What I want to get to you is the part that everybody usually talks about when a case like this goes on. And I want to ask you why they're not talking about it when we return, okay? Let's get some weather and traffic in here. Mark Christmas in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, man.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, 91 southbound, you're looking at delays now from exit 34 down to 32 A and B. More slow traffic down by exit 28. Again, slowing 23 down to 22 in Cromwell. And another bump, 19 down to 17 in Meriden. Northbound 91, that moves well from Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84, tied up 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound, slowing a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue to the Bulkley Bridge. 2 westbounds tight, approaching 1D up to the 84 West Merge. 2 eastbound slowing by exit 3 in East Hartford. 3 northbound, some slow traffic now from 13A up to 13B and C to Route 2. 291, 384 okay. 9 north and southbound heavy at the Aragoni. 9 northbound tight again, 34 up to exit 36 in New Britain. 84 eastbound Waterbury tight, 17 to 18. Again from exit 23 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 slows from 26 up to the Mixmaster. If you're heading into New Haven, southbound Parkway delays 61 into the West Rock Tunnel, and 95 southbound you're slowing 46 down to 43 in West Haven. This traffic report being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. Stuck in traffic again? Don't waste another minute. Columbia Implant Center in Manchester gets you in and out fast, often in just one day, open 7 days a week. Get your smile back now. Columbia Implant Center, ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, as we head through the rest of this afternoon, we'll see a good amount of clouds out there, a few peaks of sunshine. It will be rather breezy as well. High temperature up to around 70 degrees, partly cloudy and breezy tonight, low 52. Then we do have high pressure building overhead tomorrow. That sets us up with a warmer day under sunny to partly cloudy skies, high up to 82. We'll clear out tomorrow night, low 58, and plenty of sun on Saturday with a high up to 86. This is meteorologist Isaac Longley in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
4:30 Hartford temperatures 69 degrees. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Firefighters sustained minor injuries battling an early morning blaze in Rocky Hill. The Saybrook Fish House went up on Silas Dean Highway. Crews got the call just before 3. Firefighters located the blaze in a utility room in the rear of the structure. It's going to be closed for the next several weeks while they do repairs. There were no injuries, and that fire is under investigation. Meantime, in Norwich, a man's being charged with arson. Last Saturday, they say, police witnesses spotted and put the fire out in the area of 58 Smith Street. Police say those witnesses provided information that led them to the suspect, 38-year-old Eric Boudreau. He is charged with burglary and arson, and that fire remains under investigation. Rough seas all along the eastern seaboard as Hurricane Erin flies out to the east. No landfall is expected, but there are huge waves and a dangerous undercurrent to deal with as the storm is kicking up those waves and the rip currents. Warnings and advisories posted as far north as New England. As a result, ferry service between New London and Block Island has been canceled. All ferries today and Friday canceled, according to the Block Island Express. A Facebook post says they should be back up and running, or they hope to be back up and running in time for the weekend. A civil fraud penalty against President Trump has been tossed out by a New York State appeals court. It upheld other punishments, such as banning Trump and his 2 eldest sons from serving in corporate leadership for a few years. The suit accuses Trump of exaggerating his wealth. On Wall Street, the markets finished in negative territory. The Dow lost 152 points today. NASDAQ was down 72, S&P down 25. Red Sox and Yankees begin a big series in the Bronx tonight, 6:15, the pregame here on TIC. Mets finish up their series in the nation's capital against the Nationals. Eastern League Yard Goats are playing in Somerset against the Yankees AA affiliate, the Patriots. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
At Ayala Home Services, we handle hundreds of well water problems a year. We believe hearing your options to get water flowing in your house shouldn't cost a thing. That's why we offer free estimates for wells with no water. Plus, get your water back as soon as the same day. Contact the trusted well professionals at Ayala Home Services when you call, click, or text today and say hello, ALO, call for details. Licensed for safety, HIC 628926, P1027768, S10406241, S3308699, SM 3004646, E1185643.
Eat it up, the Hartford Yard Goats. Eat it up.
It's the final 2 weeks of Yard Goats baseball, August 26th through September 7th, and the Red Sox affiliate is in town. We've got 2 weeks of giveaways, kids run the bases, and 2 fireworks shows to end the summer with a bang. It's your last chance to catch the Yard Goats at Duncan Park until 2026. So don't wait. Visit yardgoatsbaseball.com and secure your tickets today.
The Hartford Yard Goats. Eat it up. Oh, yeah.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me. Like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
What is your next success story? At University of Maryland Global Campus, you can succeed again with more than 135 affordable online degrees and certificates to help you move your career forward. From cybersecurity and AI to healthcare and MBA, our programs help you build critical thinking, leadership, and communication skills that set you apart in today's job market. Apply now and save with no application fee through September 3rd. Visit umgc.edu to get started. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey, what's going on? It's Reese on the Radio. We are back on News Talk 1080 WTIC. We are still in the building with Devon Ward, who is the ombudsman for the Department of Corrections. He is behind the scenes telling very scathing stories that he's going to have to be called to the principal's office after he's done here. Anyway, we're going to get into a little bit more about this. I want to talk about the fact that there has been very little media coverage about this, about J. Allen Jones's and his death, and how it's not fitting the narrative. But what I find odd is it's just so much other stuff about this that's really, really missing. But aside from that, because you're here, and I really want to, even though you play with the other side. When I say you play, you work for them. But I want to really start having a relationship with you, because there are stories like this that I know that you are very passionate about. That's the reason why you're in this position, is because you are defending those who can't defend themselves. You want to make sure that the people who are incarcerated are getting the proper treatment while they're in there, making sure that they are serving their sentence without anything, excessive happening to them, or as you said, having their lives taken from them, if not injury and far worse, or being abused, if you will, while they're sitting in there. And that's your job. Yeah. And it is it's a difficult job, because in some ways you almost feel you have to fight your bosses. Is that difficult at all?
No, well, no. Look, I think the governor, right? When I talk to him about criminal justice stuff, he wants a carceral and a prison system that's fair and just.
Right.
And I think that's his intention, right? He supported me getting into this role, knowing that in my prior career I sued the Department of Corrections over a dozen times. I settled millions of dollars worth of cases against them. And he still nominated me for this role, and so I do believe that.
Well, he saw that you were effective. You obviously saw what was going on the end. Like you understood the system, and
sure.
They recognized that it needed assistance, so they went to the well, where you've been effective in getting that stuff done. I think it was a proper, I think it was a righteous hire. Don't
Sure.
get me wrong. because that's what you're supposed to do as a governor. Is find somebody, okay, this guy clearly gets it. He's litigating us and he's winning, so obviously he knows what needs to be done. Let's use him and make him an ally. And I think that's good. Other people will look at it different ways, but I'm going to be positive here because, one, you came down here to have a discussion about this, and the fact that you wrote this article shows exactly how much you care and why this is important to you and passionate. You're not playing politics with this one.
No, not at all. I think the governor's trying to do the best that he can to try to get the correction system,
correct
where it can get. But I think the Attorney General, William Tong, plays such a crucial role in that because his office represents the correction officers.
Right.
And imagine if whenever someone committed some type of malfeasance or misconduct, they had access to some of the best lawyers who had unlimited money to go hire experts and go take depositions, and they had unlimited tools to defend their conduct, right or wrong. And that even in the instances where they lose, they don't have any personal skin in the game. The money comes out of the taxpayers' right? That's not a system that is ripe for reform, right? When you have a setup like that, when someone can commit crimes or commit malfeasance with impunity and have lawyers go and defend it. And so, I've litigated against William Tong several times. We were just sitting here and talking about a case.
We'll get into that in a second.
But what I wanted to say is that when you look at his colleagues around the country and how they handle similar cases, his approach is just such a stark departure from even our colleagues in New York or our colleagues in Massachusetts.
I want to get into that a little bit. Let's get to some more weather and traffic. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Thanks, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, southbound 91 delays, Hartford 34 down to 32 A and B, and again 27 to 28. More slow traffic as you move from 23 down to 22 in the Route 9 interchange at Crummell. Slowing again as you approach 19 to 17 in Meriden. Northbound 91, that looks pretty good now as you move Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slows 56 Governor Street and East Hartford out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound delays about a half mile before 46 Avenue into the tunnel. 2 westbound slowing 1D up to the 84 West merge. 2 eastbounds tight off of I-84 out to exit, that would be exit 3 in East Hartford. 291 through 84 okay. If you're heading into Middletown, both sides of 9 heavy approaching the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound a little tight by 34 in New Britain. 84 eastbound Waterbury sluggish 17 to 18. And again, some slow traffic from 26 down to the 691 interchange in Cheshire. Westbound 84 tight up 26 down to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. If you're traveling toward New Haven, southbound on the Parkway delays 61 down to 59. And South 95 New Haven tight from 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
There's more to Connecticut with CT Insider. A hometown behind every headline. With every issue, investigation, or interview, there's more when you're following from the inside. Visit ctinsider.com for more.
WTIC weather.
Breezy for the rest of this afternoon with clouds and even a few breaks of sunshine. We'll head up to a high of around 70 degrees and turning out partly cloudy and breezy tonight, low 52. As we head into tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy. Will turn out warmer as well, with a high temperature up to 82. Clear skies tomorrow night, low 58. And as we head into the weekend, Saturday's looking great. Plenty of sunshine, a nice start to the weekend. With a high Saturday up to 86 degrees. Then we'll see a mix of clouds and sunshine as we work our way into Sunday. It turns out more humid as well, with a high on Sunday up to 81. Right now it's 69 degrees in East Hartford, 67 in South Glastonbury, and 69 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Isaac Longley in the WTIC Weather Center.
We have something to buzz about. Call the Bee. Connecticut trusted HVAC plumbing and drain professionals now offer electrical service. Call the Bee is ready to keep your home powered up. Visit callthebee.com. That's calltheletterb.com to schedule a speedy electrical service today.
If you've got pain in your knees, shoulders, hip or back, you need to check out QC Kinetics and get long-lasting results without surgery. Call now to schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics. 860-440-PAIN.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume by New Nordic. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair aisle at your local CVS.
I'm elder law attorney Haley O'Lear. Our greatest reward is happy clients telling us that they're very thankful for our help.
Hi, I'm Kate from Farmington. My husband had a stroke a year ago. I worked with a wonderful team of people that helped me rewrite my will and navigate the Medicaid application. They even came to our home to meet us, understand our needs, and connect us with a healthcare agency.
Find out more at AllaireElderLaw.com. That's ALLAIRE.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
The NAACP calls him, whoa, I don't think I'm allowed to read this.
It's Reese on the radio.
Let's just say some people are not fans. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
They ain't gonna be fans after today's show, I'll tell you that much. We're in the house with Mr. Devon Ward. He is the ombudsman for corrections in the state of Connecticut. By the way, you cover the entire state, right?
I cover the entire state.
Entire state.
All 13 prisons and every halfway house in the state of Connecticut.
Wow. Okay, so we were talking behind the scenes, and if anybody's watching on video, they're probably seeing me like flip out, like I'm literally raising my hands and hearing some of the stories in the background. But before we get into them, by the way, folks, let me tell you this right now. I don't care where you are or what you are doing. Do not move. You do not get off this radio station. If you are listening online, do not move. The conversation that Devon and I are about to have is going to blow your mind. If you haven't heard about it, you do not want to miss it if you haven't heard about it. And it is horror stories we need to address. And now that I know them, my mission is clear. Let's talk about your career. You've been an attorney how long now?
14 years.
14 years. As a young black man, because you're a lot younger than me, and I can say that because you can see the gray. What got you to be a lawyer? I'm assuming the usual. It's you wanted to fight for people who couldn't fight for themselves.
Yeah, I went to college in D.C. and I caught the political and the legal bug. I
got it.
I went to Howard University in Washington D.C.
The 13th grade, right?
yeah. So I went to Howard University. I got to work in the Senate. I got to work in the House and caught the political and law bug. Came back here, went to UConn Law, and I grew up in the north end of Hartford. And I knew I wanted to practice law here in Connecticut, and I knew I wanted to try to effectuate change and make a difference in the lives of folks that looked like me and came from communities that looked like mine. And so, one of the things I noticed immediately after graduating from law school is that folks in our communities have phenomenal cases. They just don't have access to legal services. And one of the things that highlighted that was the first federal case I ever did, which was against the Department of Correction. It was a guy named Wayne World who had whose stage 4 skin cancer went misdiagnosed as psoriasis for 2.5 years.
Wow.
And the only reason he got treated is his skin literally was melting off of him. A CO saw him and got him to a hospital and finally got him the biopsy that he had been desiring for 2 years. But when I first went to go see Wayne, he actually had filed his case pro se. He filed it on his own. I read it. It had already survived around.
He had gone to the law library to defend himself.
I tell people all the time, there's some people who are incarcerated who are far better lawyers than some folks outside, some really talented jailhouse lawyers. But he had written his own lawsuit and had survived the first stage of review. And he had a case. I looked at it. I was like, Wayne, you got a great case. I was like, but I'm not barred in federal court yet. He's like, well, you're the only lawyer to ever come see me. How long is it going to take you to get barred in federal court? I said, a couple of months. He's like, well, I'll wait for you. That case settled for $1.3 million. It was my first federal case. And that case just illustrated that there are folks in our communities that have phenomenal cases. They just don't have access to legal services. And so, the rest of my career has kind of been an extension of that work and trying to bring a voice to some of these cases that otherwise would not have, representation in court. And so, doing Wayne's case led me to do a number of other cases, but one of them we just talked about was the case of Tiana LaBoy.
Yeah.
And Tiana LaBoy is a young Latino girl from New Britain, and was forced to give birth in her jail cell. Was forced to give birth by herself in a jail cell with no medical assistance, even though she went into labor on a Friday. She called for help down the medical and never received any medical attention, and her baby was born on a Monday morning. And so I represented Tiana. William Tong was on the other side of that case, and he fought tooth and nail. He threatened to bring the weight of the Attorney General's office, which is a couple hundred attorney person law firm,
Sure.
essentially the weight of that entire firm down on this poor Puerto Rican girl from New Britain because she was forced to give birth in a prison cell through no fault of her own.
What was it? What was his angle on like punishing her for having to endure this? What was his like? I don't understand the justification of bringing down the whole law office on this poor girl.
When me and him had a chance to talk face to face, his line was similar to his line in Jay Allen's case, is that he has an obligation as the Attorney General to try to protect the taxpayers of the state of Connecticut.
You mean protect them from having to pay for the litigations of these people who will sue, and then so he's protecting. In other words, in essence, do the wrongdoing. I've got your back. I'll protect.
Well, I'm not sure what he meant, but I know as a lawyer, there's a way to do that and not do it in a malicious way, right? We can disagree on the amount of damages, right? We can say, hey, you think what happened to you is worth $5 million. I think it's worth $500,000. But we can agree on liability. We can agree that I harmed you. We can disagree about the value of that harm, right? There's a way to litigate in a way that doesn't cause more harm or trauma to people, and that's not how his office.
But he
was
pulled out
litigated.
all the stops on this young Latina girl who was forced to give birth in a prison.
Sure. And so while she was postpartum, while she was separated from her kid, he sent her deposition request. He sent her request for discovery and request for admissions, which are kind of written questions asking her things like admit you had to have the baby on the toilet, admit nasty things that he asked her, and even just threatening to depose her. She's going through postpartum, she's incarcerated. Even the threat to depose her was damaging to her mental health while she was incarcerated. And so and the thing I thought that was the most troubling about his position in that case is, while he was defending the state's conduct in which a child was born in prison through no fault of their own, he simultaneously was filing friend of the court briefs in Texas saying how horrible the Trump administration was for holding kids in cages. And that was just baffling to me, is that he could not see how the situations were almost identical. This was a kid who, she didn't commit any crime. The girl who was born in prison, she didn't commit any crime. She was forced to be born in prison. Her mom was treated horribly. The state could have said, hey, we didn't cause this to happen, but we're going to make it right.
Make it right.
We're going to make it right, right?
And make sure it never happens again. You will be a model for better behavior.
Correct. And I will say to the commissioner, Scott Simple, who was the commissioner at that time, he personally apologized to Tiana. He went and talked to her. There's been a number of reforms created in terms of prenatal and natal care for women at York Prison, at our prison. But William was not a catalyst for any of that, and the way he litigated that case was very, very troubling. Another case that kind of comes to mind was not a case of mine, but affected a number of cases that I did, because it was going on simultaneously while I was litigating these cases, and it changed the complexion of the law, not just in Connecticut, but in the entire Second Circuit, federal Second Circuit, which is New York, Connecticut, and Vermont. Is the case of Tara Tangretti. And Tara Tangretti was another woman who was serving a brief sentence at York, and Tara was raped multiple times by multiple COs while she was there. And William defended the state and defended some of those prison officials in that action. And so Tara's case proceeded, and a federal judge said she was allowed to stand trial against one defendant.
Now, when you say stand trial, what she was doing was bringing a trial to the criminal defendant who raped her? Is that
no, so two different processes.
Okay.
So the guards who raped her, they were prosecuted criminally.
Okay.
She filed a civil suit, a federal civil suit against the prison officials, so some of the supervisors and some of the officers that raped her.
Right.
At the end of the litigation, or towards the end of litigation, typically the state files a motion. It's called a motion for summary judgment. But essentially the motion says to the court, hey, there's no facts in dispute. You can decide this case based on the law. We don't need to go to trial. And so that's what the state filed. And the judge said that Tara could proceed to trial against one prison official.
Just one.
Just one. And so that's what the federal judge said. William said, no, that's a bridge too far. He appealed that judge's decision to the Second Circuit. And the Second Circuit agreed with William and eliminated supervisory liability for the entire Second Circuit. So now you can't sue a prison supervisor for the conduct of their subordinates unless they're directly involved in the malfeasance.
The malfeasance, okay.
But what was so troubling about that case is that William thought that this woman being able to stand trial against one person after being raped multiple times by multiple people during her incarceration, he thought that was a bridge too far and appealed that decision to the Second Circuit. That's an extraordinary step, in my opinion, as a lawyer, to have appealed that decision. He at that point he could have said, "You made your point, Tara. Let's talk settlement. Okay, let's try to figure out how we can make this right." Right.
To put her through more trauma, even if it was litigious, really meant that. A lot of it is just like it's almost furthering the abuse in some way, because William Tong, again, a guy who's supposed to be the defendant of the people, is treating her like an adversary, and she's a victim without a doubt,
for sure.
And he didn't treat her as much; he treated her like an adversary, and in some way was thwarting every opportunity she had to get accountability.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so you know, I think that's my thing, and that's why I'm speaking out, is because, you know, I really don't think at times he views people who are incarcerated or their families as taxpayers, as citizens, as residents, as people who deserve the same
You can say it as human.
Yeah, the same protections that he's offering to you know, state officials. And so I hope he's listening. You know, me and him have tried to have, you know, conversations about some of these cases. But, you know, the Tangredi case sticks out to me. I'll never forget, for as long as I lived, the conversation I had with him about Tiana LaBoy. And so, you know, and here we are again with J. Allen Jones, where, you know, he has an opportunity to live up to some of the things that he said publicly in terms of, you know, Black Lives Matter, in terms of what he says about justice, even in terms of, you know, what he says about transparency with the Trump administration, right? In an age where, you know, we're seeing people incarcerated, you know, and taken into government custody. I think what happens to them while they're in the custody of the government is more important than ever.
Yeah.
It's more important than ever. And
yeah, so, with everybody making those protests about, every time you turn around, there's usually they get, you know, found out to be false, but there is always that sort of fervor, if you will, about how the treatment is happening, you know, from the kids in cages point you were bringing up back in 2014. It's insane that we're even talking about this. Last but not least, before I let you go, we got about 2 minutes. I need to ask you this, but you have a theory as to why J. Allen Jones's story is not getting published or getting any sort of burn in the media. Let me start for you. You believe that this affects Democrats or the left in some way about what they feel about prison reform because of the fact that this happened in 2018 under Malloy's watch, that this will damage that idea that they were treating or there were, you know, this adage about how they were treating inmates with dignity, and this goes against that. If they have to admit that that wasn't the case, it would blow that whole narrative up.
I'm not here to subscribe motives to folks, right? So I can't say why this case is being defended the way it is. What I do know is that other Democrats around the state, other Democrats around the country, particularly Letitia James in New York, she had an incident just like this year, and she released the video within weeks.
Yeah.
And so, you know, all I'm asking for, I can't, you know, I could sit here all day and try to come up with all sorts of motives and prescriptions for why people are doing certain things. But all I know is that I think this video needs to be released. I think that would be consistent with democratic norms and democratic principles and who we say we are as a state, right? We say we're a state that stands for transparency. We say we're a state that stands for justice. And so it's with those.
It shouldn't take furloughs.
Yeah, and so with that in mind, I think we should be releasing this video and letting the public be able to decide for themselves whether or not the Attorney General's defense of this conduct for 7 years is in the state's best interest.
Devon Ward, Ombudsman of the Department of Corrections. Thank you very much. I always shake my guest hand.
Thank you for having me.
I love you being here. You're always a guest back.
Appreciate you.
You holler at me. We got each other's telephone number. If there's something you need from me, get in touch with me. Your story about how you got into this, into being an attorney, I have to be honest with you. I kind of welled up because that's why I do what I do. And to hear a man do it for the reasons that you did, you saw somebody who had a case and needed help, and you fought hard. You went and got the right credentials to help him out federally. That kind of passion that moves me. So
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Without a doubt. All right, we'll be back. More news, more views when we return right here on Reese on the Radio. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound side of 91, you got delays from exit 33 down to 32 A and B. Another bump down by exit 28. A little slow by 23 in Rocky Hill. Slowing again between 22 and 21 in Cromwell. And a little tight again as you approach 19 to 17 in Meriden. Northbound side of 91, moving well. Cromwell up into Hartford. A little slow, 35 to 36 in Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing in East Hartford. 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound, you've got some slow traffic now. About a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. You'll tap the brakes out by the 384 interchange in Manchester. 2 westbound slows, 1D up to the 84 West merge. 2 eastbound's a little slow by exit 3 in East Hartford. 3 northbound delays approaching 13A up to 13B and C as you transition to Route 2. If you're traveling into Middletown, 9 north and southbound slow at the Aragoni. 9 north Berlin is tight from 32 up to 34 in New Britain. Westbound side of 84 slows in Waterbury. 23 up to the Mixmaster. Eastbound 84 in Waterbury's tight, approaching 17 to 18. And again, 25A down to the 691 interchange. Heading toward New Haven, southbound on the Parkway, you've got delays from 61 down to 59. South 95 New Haven's tight, 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, as we head through the rest of this afternoon, we'll see a good amount of clouds out there, a few peaks of sunshine. It will be rather breezy as well. High temperature up to around 70 degrees, partly cloudy and breezy tonight, low 52. Then we do have high pressure building overhead tomorrow. That sets us up with a warmer day under sunny to partly cloudy skies, high up to 82. We'll clear out tomorrow night, low 58, and plenty of sun on Saturday with a high up to 86. This is meteorologist Isaac Longley in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
5 o'clock, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Rough seas along the eastern seaboard as Hurricane Aaron flies out to the east. No landfall expected, but there are huge waves and a dangerous undercurrent that the storm's been kicking up. Warnings and advisories have been posted as far north as New England. Meteorologist Rob Marciano is along the Outer Banks of North Carolina.
Many tourists and residents evacuated the Outer Banks as Aaron closed in, but some, like 96-year-old motel owner Carol Dillon, stayed behind.
You've been on the retreat for decades now.
Since 1955. A lot of storms, a lot of damage. I've seen the water in this building up to the window.
So many of our most impactful hurricanes the past several years, we've been dealing with the deadly inland flooding. That's not an issue with this. It's going to stay offshore.
The Block Island Ferry has suspended service through tomorrow as a result of the waves that are being kicked up by the storm. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu giving the go-ahead for defense forces to begin an offensive in Gaza City with the goal of wiping out Hamas and taking control there. But on the other hand, he is calling for new negotiations to release remaining hostages. His office is now warning aid organizations to leave the area with no clear plan for delivering food and medicine. Reporter Linda Gradstein has more from Jerusalem.
Hamas this week accepted a 60-day ceasefire plan that negotiators say is almost identical to the plan proposed by U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and which Israel had accepted. But Israel seems to be insisting on a full deal for the release of all of the Israeli hostages and the total defeat of Hamas. Israeli officials say Netanyahu intends to go ahead with a plan to retake Gaza City and move 1 million Palestinians there to southern Gaza, a plan the UN strongly opposes.
An appeals court has thrown out a penalty against against President Trump for exaggerating as well.
The New York appellate court threw out a $500 million penalty in a civil fraud case against President Trump and others on Thursday, ruling that the fine was excessive while saying they were divided on the merits of the case, which was brought 3 years ago by New York Attorney General Letitia James. Her office alleged that President Trump oversaw a scheme to deliberately mislead companies he was in business with about the values of properties he owned and Mr. Trump's overall net worth.
Correspondent Graham Cates, the president, calls it a total victory. The Attorney General in New York is promising an appeal. She's still in the exploratory stage when it comes to a run for governor, but New Britain's Aaron Stewart's exploratory committee has released results of an internal poll. The survey finds a six-term mayor holding a sizable lead over potential Republican challengers for the party's nomination. Stewart holds a 30-point advantage over State Senator Ryan Fazio, who formally entered the race last week. A primary for the party's nomination is still a year. A poll of 400 likely voters was conducted between August 11th and the 14th as a margin of error of plus or minus 4.9%. Governor Lamont has not yet officially decided or announced whether he is seeking a third term. Safety around school buses, part of a back-to-school safety reminder from the Injury Prevention Center at Connecticut Children's in Hartford. Watch for Me CT program manager Amy Watkins says kids should not play in the street and should stay 3 steps away from the curb at the bus stop. She also reminds drivers never to pass a stopped school bus.
We want to remind them that the school bus is actually the safest way for kids to get to school. It's big and yellow. It's got the big seats. It's very a safe way for kids to get to school. But if you absolutely have to drive your child to school, you want to keep in mind that busy drop-off and pick-up area can get a little chaotic and be dangerous.
And separately, Watkins says parents and children should resist posting back-to-school personal info on social media, even basics like name, school, and teacher's name. They can potentially be used by child predators. On Wall Street, the Dow down 152 points today. The NASDAQ lost 72, and the S&P was down 25 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Men, the summer is here. Longer days, warmer nights, and romances in the air. Intimate dinners, walks on the beach, dancing in the moonlight. But if you have erectile dysfunction, you know it can ruin romance, both for you and the one you love. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if you have ED, don't let another summer go by without getting treated, because intimacy is one of the greatest things in life. And fear of not being able to perform should not be something you have to deal with. At Northeast Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated tens of thousands of men. Our protocols work when others don't, and we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. You could even last up to an hour or more and perform like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you, including our new office in Warwick, Rhode Island.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Normally right now I would be doing movie news, but of course, because we're not like in my studio, which is all the way out there. So, you know what? I should tell them. I should. This is a perfect time to tell them. Yes, I went to Silver Sun Pickups. I went to go see them at Toad's Place yesterday. I'll talk about that in a little bit. I've got Fritz over here saying, when's he going to talk about the concert? In due time. I had a lot of guests today. I had a lot of stuff going on. I'll get to it, Fritz, I promise. It was good to see you and Chrissy there. And it was great to see Michael there with his wife. And we had a great time, and we enjoyed the concert. We'll talk about that. But I have something to share, and it's important. So we won't be here in September because that's only like a week or so away. But we are going to be here in October, very early October, the week of the 7th. So whatever Monday that is, we will be here. Because apparently me and none other. What? What? What do you mean you won't be here? Where are you going? Oh, you take your birthday off. Okay, fine. So happy birthday to him. Whatever. Anyway. No, so, all right, you won't be here on that Monday, but fine. But you will be here on the 7th. Is that correct? Yes, but on the 7th, we will be going to the broadcaster's thingy, right? That's when it is, the day after your birthday. A nice birthday gift if you could get an award that goes with your Emmy, right? It would be nice. It would be nice. So, yes, we're trying to do that, but we will be here that week. Now, that being said, we're working. We're really, really working. If my wife pulls this off, and she has been known to pull a rabbit out of her hat now and again, it's quite possible that Reese on the Radio might be here a month earlier. It's quite possible. Because I know how important you folks, say it is for me to be here. And I know you're wishing us well. So I promise you I will be here as soon as I possibly could. So if I can't, it'll be November no matter what. But if my wife pulls off what I think she's going to pull off, we may have a place to stay. At least, as far as an apartment is concerned. She loves the place because I understand that they have a restaurant inside the place. That's all she cares about. She doesn't have to cook. Let's get some weather and traffic. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. What is the one chore, Mark Christopher, that your wife could live without? Like she would say in a minute, gosh, I wish I wouldn't have to do that. I'm going to assume it's dishes.
Boy, I'll have to ask
Or is it
her.
laundry? My wife hates laundry.
Really?
Can't stand it.
You know what? My wife's a good cook, but I would say cooking. I'll have to ask her, though.
Yeah, I really want to know. Because
I'll ask her.
My wife, she doesn't like to cook, and she doesn't like to do laundry. In fact, when she does laundry, our laundry sits in a pile for 2 to 3 weeks, is it, man?
Wow. Wow.
I have to go searching for socks like a needle in a haystack when she does laundry. It's like Where's Waldo with socks.
And, of course, you always have an odd number of socks. It's never an even number. It never is even. Well, Reese, thank you very much. If you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32. Again, down bikes at 28. Once you get around that, a little slow again as you move between 23 and 22 in Cromwell and the Route 9 interchange. Another slow pocket from 19, approaching 19 to 17 in Meriden. Northbound 91, a little slow as you move up bikes at 23, West Street and Rocky Hill. And after that, good ride up Hartford into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound slowing from just after exit 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 291 through 84 OK. 2 westbound slowing 1D up to the 84 West merge. If you are heading into Middletown, both sides of 9 heavy approaching the Aragoni. 84 westbound in Cheshire, delays from 26 up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound in Waterbury, slowing 17 to 18, again from 25A down to the 691 interchange in Cheshire. Southbound on the Parkway, you've got slow traffic from 62 down to 59 in New Haven. And northbound Parkway, you've got slow traffic approaching 59 into the West Rock Tunnel. Southbound 95 New Haven, slowing 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, it's going to be rather breezy across the area for the rest of this afternoon. We will see clouds and even a few peaks of sunshine out there. The high temperature around 70 degrees and partly cloudy. Still breezy out there tonight. We'll head down to a low of 52. Then sunshine will be mixing with some clouds tomorrow. Overall, turning out to be a warmer day. The high temperature up to 82. We'll have clear skies around 4 tomorrow night, low 58. Then we do have a beautiful start to the weekend as we head into Saturday. Plenty of sunshine. The high on Saturday, 86, and we'll see partly sunny skies for Sunday. Turns out a little more humid as well. The high Sunday, 81. However, as we head into Monday, we do have a cold front moving in. That's going to bring more clouds to the area, along with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm with a high Monday up to 80. Right now, it's 70 degrees in Plainville, 68 in Manchester, and 70 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Isaac Longley in the WTIC Weather Center.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey, how'd you get your water heater fixed so fast?
Aiello Home Services, same-day plumbing. I gave them a call, and they had a plumber on their way. They even sent the plumber's real-time location, so I knew when they would be here.
Did you say same day? That's crazy.
If you need same-day plumbing, call, click, or text today and say hello, Aiello. Call for details. Licensed for safety. HIC 628926, P102776888, S104062441, S3308699, SM3004646, E1185643.
Your portfolio might be growing, but is it paying you income? Growth is not the same thing as income. At Retirement Income Source Grant and Financial Group, we build custom portfolios that generate income. Stop selling assets to pay for your retirement. Call now for your free income consultation at 855-930-6293.
Investment advisory services offered by Sound Income Strategies, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisory firm. The Retirement Income Source and Sound Income Strategies are associated entities. Retirement Income Source with David Scranton is a paid program.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend. Oh, my Bob!
Oh, hold still. This is only going to hurt a little. It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we are back. Reese on the radio. We didn't do it at the 3 o'clock hour, so it's about that time. Let's get into some headlines. Is the military preparing to attack Mexican cartels? Well, the Trump administration has directed the military to prepare for lethal strikes against cartel targets inside Mexico, according to 3 military sources. The top secret planning order, not so top secret today, issued late spring directs Northern Command, or NORTHCOM, to manage the attack plans, which are to be ready by mid-September. Though the U.S.-Mexican military relations are broad and cooperative, any military action south of the border is considered extremely sensitive for both Washington and the Mexican federal government. And it is rarely discussed in public. So they're not really certain of whether or not it's going to happen, but Donald Trump appears to be the kind of guy that would possibly do something like this. So the fact that it's being talked about, several reasons for me, I think, are why it's becoming public. One, it is to put the cartels on notice. And then get people talking about it, because as it goes, Donald Trump says something, or he texts something, or tweets something, and that becomes the media narrative. So if something happens, we don't know. And Donald Trump's known to be secretive. You know, we may wake up one morning and the Sinaloa cartel is no more. We're like, what the heck happened? Bed Bath & Beyond Executive Chairman Marcus Lemonis told Newsmax on Wednesday that he would love to see Governor of California, Gavin Newsom, out of office in an interview railing against the California governor, which is interesting because Bed Bath & Beyond has filed for bankruptcy. They're closing their doors. But in California, Bed Bath & Beyond is saying, forget it, I can't do business here. The taxes and the regulations are too high. He's about to bounce. But what was really interesting in that back and forth is that Gavin Newsom tweeted out something to the effect of, really, I didn't know Bed Bath & Beyond still existed, like many others in California, and saying, good luck with your 2 stores, maybe you'll get a third. It was a really disrespectful tweet, that Gavin Newsom put out, and I'm paraphrasing on that, but he was saying, like, congratulations on your last 2 stores, which shows that Gavin Newsom has really got a problem with businesses in California. I mean, look at Walgreens and every other business that has had to close down or leave, for that matter. I think In-N-Out Burger is about to be out as well. This guy doesn't like businesses. It's really, really weird. Also in the news, Cracker Barrel is changing its branding. It's going to get rid of the logo that it has, and it's going to change it to a new one. Look it up. It's really plain. It just says Cracker Barrel. But I have received word that there are other changes that are coming to Cracker Barrel outside of the logo change. Here are some of those changes. Whites will be served at the back of the restaurant. That's actually weird. Okay. Also, they will no longer be serving steak. You can only get Steakum. That's weird. Okay, fine. Kool-Aid will be made with copious amounts of sugar, and you can only get the red Kool-Aid at the Cracker Barrels across the country. Some people might like that. They will continue to serve biscuits because it appears that that's the only thing that blacks and white folks can agree upon. Okay, and gravy too. So yes, biscuits will stay. Kool-Aid will be the drink of choice, and no longer steak because of, people don't want to have to buy steak anymore, and they love Steakum. I don't know if they're going to bring Spam, but I think that's already there. Is Spam at Cracker Barrel? I think there is. I think Spam, that's a big thing. And now it's time for our stupidest thing I've read today.
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
If you want to know how desperate the left media is, go no further than the New York Times and now the Associated Press. The Associated Press actually has this article out as a real news story, and other major news networks are following suit. South Park targets federal takeover of D.C. in latest episode. This is an actual story, which the part that baffles me is that Democrats and the left are so desperate that they're losing the culture that South Park episodes 30 years later are now relevant. South Park's been around about as long as The Simpsons have been around, and now the media is using South Park to say, see, South Park's making fun of it. They're actually, we're talking about one of the most crass television shows in the history of television. We're talking about a television show that depicted the devil having sex with Saddam Hussein in hell. And now the Democrats are saying, see, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, they don't like Donald Trump either. That is desperate, and is also stupid. The Associated Press and New York Times, they're writing articles about it every episode they do. They are writing genuine newspaper articles about South Park. You can't be this desperate. It's embarrassing to watch, and I wish you people would knock it off. I feel bad for you. At some point, people get sick and tired of watching the bullied be bullied, and I get it. Donald Trump is eating your lunch every single day. I get it. Every day he is embarrassing you. You're singing songs. You're doing interpretive dance in Washington, at parks. You are doing incredible things in public. You're threatening to shoot people in MAGA hats. I mean, you're doing everything. You are desperately destroying your lives daily. You are ruining yourselves, soiling your very reputation over Donald Trump. And now, as a last-ditch effort to appear relevant, you've caught on to South Park 30 years later. This is indeed the stupidest thing I've read. But here we are. Knock it off. You can't be raving about this. I'm going to get to phones when we get out of here. I promise you I will get all of you on the line, so stay on them. 860-522-WTIC. I will take your calls. But I want to say that this is, is Villanova? Okay, my wife just showed me this. Villanova University issues active shooter alert amid orientation events. Okay, keep an eye on that and see what you find out. We'll follow that as it comes. I haven't seen anything over the wire. We got the news sitting in front of us, but they're always late. So if anything develops on that, we'll let you know. And folks, if you are there, please be safe. I want to send this shout out to somebody who was in the chat room earlier, because I'm here in Connecticut. I'm right here and I'm live. And not once has this individual even bothered to come by the station. And I invited him. And now he won't come. Tim in Hampton, will you please come on by and say hello? Come on. It's about time. What are you afraid of? You call anytime you're a big fan of this show. I know you call a whole bunch of other radio stations and a bunch of other hosts, but you and I have a bond, a connection. You and I have a kindred spirit. There's something about the two of us that you know is pure and righteous. But come on down to the station. I'm here Friday. Come on by. And you talk about, now this is the thing that drives me. You will never debate a Democrat. You've been invited. And by the way, that's how I met my wife. Come on by the station. You want an opportunity to debate me? You've been invited. You've got tomorrow. Now, let's be honest. We know you're not going to show up. But you can always surprise me. You know how to get here. And there's a microphone sitting right there. That chair's got your name on it. Let's put our gasoline where our mouth is and get on up here. Scurry your little butt on up here and have a debate with me. There'll be no way for you to cut off, and now you can have that conversation you've been dying to have for 3 years now. But I don't really think you got it in you. I really don't. I think you like doing it from afar. You're a throw a stone and hide your hand kind of guy. But you all heard it right here live on WTIC. I invited Tim to come on down and debate me. He can have 20 minutes on the microphone and, we could just, have it out. But we'll see. You have been invited, and you can ask anybody here. What does this say? Law school. Sorry, honey, your handwriting is a little off. Stay away from law school at, is that Scarpo Hall? Scarpo Hall? Okay, no further details. Okay, that's in the Villanova active shooter situation. Thank you, honey. I've never read your handwriting before. You usually type. That's, no offense, but I don't, yeah, I know it's a pen, but my wife's hand, that is really, oh, she's left-handed, okay. And it's not because you write poorly? It's not because you write poorly? I thought it was because you write poorly. I was just taking it, what's that going on with your middle finger? Did you get a bruise on it? Anyway, when we return, we'll take your phone calls before we get up out of here. Oh, also, please note, Superior Court. Is that what he said, Roland? Superior Court, right? Hartford Superior Court. Tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Reese On The Radio will be there. I know a lot of you have work. If you can't be there, that's fine. You'll be there in spirit. I know you will. We'll be down there. We understand that J. Allen Jones's family will be there. We'll see if we can get some comments from them. We'll talk about them. We'll show them some support. And we'll see what's going on. If William Tong comes in or shows up there, we'll see if we can talk to him as well, see if he'll answer some questions. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. We'll talk about it. Is that better? Yeah, that's better. My wife has to defend her handwriting. You can't say anything to a woman about something that she's done without her turning around and having to prove that it's me and it's not her. She couldn't just make him. We had that debate at a restaurant once where she made a mistake about something, and she went on and on about how horrible it was that I'd pointed it out. How dare you point it out? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, all you have to do is just apologize for the mistake. And then she did. She felt horrible about it, but I love her. I swear I love her. I swear. She's going to hurt me, she says. She'll be here tomorrow. Also, Chris Beloff, my good friend, he is now, I got to explain this real quick before we go to break. So Chris Beloff will be here tomorrow. And you're saying, well, who the hell is he? I'll explain. Chris was the first friend I made in Connecticut. I knew nobody here. And Chris had listened to the show that I was on. He didn't know it was me until I told him it was me. And he and I have been buds since. That's been over 21 years. I've always loved him. He is like a bro to me. He's like a brother to me. and I'm back in Hartford, Connecticut, and I want to reconnect with him. His kids are grown. I was with him before I was hanging out with him before he even had kids. He was still with his wife, Giselle, beautiful Giselle. Wasn't really a fan of mine in the beginning. But what else is new, my wife says. But Chris is going to be here tomorrow. We're going to hang out a little bit while we go through the news, the views, and talk about everything. And I'll talk about our relationship and what was going on back 21 years ago right here in Hartford, Connecticut. He watched Game 7. I think it was Game 6 and 7 in the American League Championships series against Boston versus the Yankees. We watched it at the TGI Fridays across the street from Buckland Hills Mall. That's not right, because Buckland Hills Mall is down the block. What it is across the street from, and I was just driving past it the other day, was Circuit City. Oh, do you remember that? Does anybody remember Circuit City? And please, can I give a round of applause to PC Richards and Son? They are still, never go away, PC Richards and Son. Never go away. I went into one of those in Newington the other day, and I was so happy to be in there. I was like, wow, that's my childhood. PC Richards and Son. Anyway, more news, more views, your phone calls when we return, so go nowhere. We'll wrap this puppy up. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Our good friend Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, man.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading on the eastbound side of 84, look for delays just after 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley Bridge. Westbound 84 is a little slow, approaching 57 in East Hartford for the Charter Oak Bridge. Again, slow traffic, 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. Southbound side of 91, some slow traffic, 33 down to 32 A and B. Again, down by exit 28. A little slow again from 24 down to 23 in Rocky Hill. And another slowdown from exit 22, pretty much right down to exit 20, Country Club Road in Middletown. Northbound side of 91, a little tight getting between exit 22 and 23 in Rocky Hill. After that, good ride Hartford up into Windsor. If you are traveling Route 2 westbound, you're slowing 1D up to the 84 West merge. Both sides of 9 a little slow approaching the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. 9 northbound in Berlin, some slow traffic by 32. If you're 84 eastbound Waterbury, some slow traffic as you move 17 to 18, again slowing 25A in Waterbury down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 sluggish, 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. Southbound Parkway delays 62 down to exit 59 in New Haven. Northbound Parkway slowing approaching 59 into the West Rock, and 95 southbound got delays New Haven 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, as we head through the rest of this afternoon, we'll see a good amount of clouds out there, a few peaks of sunshine. It will be rather breezy as well. High temperature up to around 70 degrees, partly cloudy and breezy tonight, low 52. Then we do have high pressure building overhead tomorrow. That sets us up with a warmer day under sunny to partly cloudy skies, high up to 82. We'll clear out tomorrow night, low 58, and plenty of sun on Saturday with a high up to 86. This is meteorologist Isaac Longley in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. And now, a WTIC News Update.
It's 5:30. Hartford temperature 70 degrees. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. Police responded to a report of an active shooter on the campus of Villanova University just days before the start of classes. Students shared a text from the Villanova alert system that told them to lock and barricade doors and move to secure locations. A second alert from Villanova officials warned people to stay away from the law school. And a post on X, Radnor Township, told nearby residents and students to shelter in place. No other information was given. Videos posted to social media showed a crowd being rushed inside a building on campus. New student orientation and registration started today and is scheduled to go until Saturday. Classes begin on Monday. Advisories and warnings remain in effect as Hurricane Aaron, a Category 2 storm with 105-mile-an-hour winds off the Atlantic coast, churns farther away from the coast. Advisories and warnings, though, for high surf and dangerous currents remain in effect. Fire at a popular restaurant in Rocky Hill sends a firefighter to the hospital. Blaze broke out early this morning at Saybrook Fish House. Firefighters sustained an arm injury. No word yet on the cause. An appeals court has thrown out the massive civil fraud penalty against President Trump. 5-judge panel ruled today in New York State's lawsuit accusing Trump of exaggerating his wealth, a decision coming 7 months after he returned to the White House. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu plans to expand Israel's military operation in Gaza City. An official says Netanyahu is expected to give the final okay during a security cabinet meeting. And police have arrested a 23-year-old man in Stamford after he fled a domestic violence incident in Dover, Vermont, Tuesday that allegedly dragged a trooper during an attempted traffic stop on Interstate 91 in Holyoke. Mason Payne is charged. Police say he managed to escape into Connecticut, where he was found holed up in a Stamford hotel. Checking Wall Street, markets finished in negative territory today. The Dow down 152, NASDAQ down 72, and the S&P down 25. Red Sox at the Yankees tonight, 6:15 the pregame here on TIC. Mets will finish up their series in D.C. against the Nationals. Eastern League, the Argots are playing in Somerset. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
I'm an elder law attorney, Haley Allaire. Our greatest reward is happy clients telling us that they're very thankful for our help.
Hi, I'm Kate from Farmington. When I called Allaire Elder Law, I didn't know exactly what I was looking for, but I knew I needed help. Allaire Elder Law helped me find my way. My husband had a stroke a year ago, and we worked hard to bring him home. I worried about what would happen if either of us had another medical emergency. Allaire Elder Law worked with us to develop a plan that will keep my husband safe at home while protecting our assets. What surprised me most was that I didn't just work with a lawyer. I worked with a wonderful team of people. Charlotte helped me rewrite my will to protect my husband. Amanda helped me gather materials and navigate the Medicaid application. Heather came to our home to meet us, understand our needs, and connect us with a healthcare agency. I'm grateful for the team at Allaire Elder Law.
Find out more at AllaireElderLaw.com. That's ALLAIRE.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. Openphone.com/TRY.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
I want to thank our guest today, Jerry Puya from Between Rounds, who was here, and that was an impromptu interview. He wasn't scheduled to be in, but he was in the building cutting some commercials, and I love that guy. I love everything that they do. They've been so gracious to myself and my wife, and had such a great dinner, and I love the partnership that we have here, and we love just hanging out with them. Their daughter is still amazing, and Roseanne and I always talk about her, just how funny and engaging she is. She's a delight. Chris is a stand-up guy. Their son, they're raising their children in a beautiful way, and they are fine nutmeggers and people to boot. So we love the fact that we have that friendship and that relationship with them. Also, I want to thank Devon Ward for being down here, giving me such an insight on what he's doing. Because what is important about what Devon has done as the ombudsman and also as a criminal defense attorney is to give a face to those who cannot represent themselves. And many people will, you can think what you want about the criminal justice system, but what tends to be a fact is that there is not a representation for many in certain communities. And as much as I don't like to break it down by race, and I think some of that stuff in the victimhood stuff is ridiculous. We've seen it dozens of times. But there are people who do not have great representation or good representation in the criminal justice system. And he saw a need, and he turned it into something even better. He went from being a criminal justice attorney to actually working in the establishment to make change in it. He's, you don't hear him screaming and hollering. He's like, we have too many people incarcerated. He's there. He understands that they're being incarcerated, but he doesn't want them to be victimized any further. He wants them to go in there, serve their sentence, pay their debt to society, and then go home and perhaps make a better life. But he doesn't want anybody abusing them inside those walls. And that can be and should be commendable. So Devon Ward, Ombudsman for Criminal Justice, for the Corrections Department, we appreciate you being here, I should say, on the show, and we will be talking to him a lot, I promise you, so we can get an understanding. We'll get to the phones when we get back, so stand by for that. Tomorrow at the Superior Court building in Hartford, I'll be there if you want to come on by. It is at 10 a.m., but knowing Reese on the Radio, I will be there earlier. So if you get there, you will find Reese there, and you can either hang out, talk to me, and protest the release of the video that shows what happened to J. Allen Jones. All right, join me. Let's get another check of our weather and traffic. Our good friend Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Matt.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're southbound 91 in Windsor, we have an accident now between exit 36 and 35. Looks like a little bit of the right lane is taken out there. Delays back to exit 37 behind that. Once you get around that, you've got some slow traffic in Hartford, 33 to 32. Another bump down by exit 28. A little slow again as you move between 22 and 21 in Cromwell. Northbound side of I-91, that's moving well. Cromwell through downtown, a little slow up by exit 35 in Windsor. If you're traveling on the westbound side of 84, delays 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slowing about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. Again, some slow traffic out by 59 in the 384 interchange. 2 westbound slowing 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 9 north and southbound a little slow at the Aragoni Bridge. If you're traveling 9 northbound in Berlin into New Britain, slowing 32 up to exit 34. Westbound side of 84, you've got tight traffic approaching 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster. If you're traveling 84 eastbound, a little tight 17 to 18 again from 26 in Cheshire down to 27. And the 691 interchange. Eastbound 84 moving into Danbury, your tight New York, Connecticut line out to 5 again from 8 in Danbury out to exit 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway, you've got some slow traffic as you move from exit 61 in Hamden down to 59 in New Haven. Northbound Parkway slowing, approaching 59 into the West Rock, and 95 south delays 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Clouds and a few breaks of sunshine for the rest of this afternoon. It will be a little breezy out there as well. The high temperature up to around 70 degrees. Then we'll have a few clouds out there tonight, still on the breezy side. Low temperature down to 52. Sunny to partly cloudy tomorrow. Turning warmer as well as we head up to a high of 82. Then we'll see clear skies tomorrow night, low 58. Then we're looking to be in good shape for the weekend. Saturday, plenty of sunshine. A great start to the weekend. With a high Saturday up to 86 and a few clouds around on Sunday. Turning more humid as well with a high Sunday of 81. Then we do have a cold front moving into the area on Monday. That'll bring mostly cloudy skies, a little bit more humidity as well with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm with a high Monday up to 80. Right now it's 70 degrees in Windsor Locks, 69 in Unionville, and 70 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Isaac Longley in the WTIC Weather Center.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Now at McDonald's, wake up with a warm sausage McMuffin with egg for $3 and add any size iced coffee for just $1.29. During breakfast hours only, price and participation may vary.
Have bad teeth that need to be replaced? Don't like removable dentures? Worry no more. Come on down to Columbia Implant Center in Manchester any day of the week and ask for the All-on-4 procedure. Call us at 860-643-1898.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
That's right. Freeing the slaves, damn it. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century. See, the state slaves today, they're not slaves in bondage. They are slaves of the mind. You got to see my wife. My wife has the most disappointing look on her face. She's literally looking at me going, oh, boy. Lay it on thick there, buddy. Gag, exactly. We are back, and we're almost at the end of the week, but you know what? So what? It doesn't matter. We're going to go back. We'll be at it. My wife doesn't want to go, by the way. She's like, do we really have to go back? I'm like, yes, we have to get our stuff. She said, yeah, that's right. She said, can you go back and I'll stay? I'm like, where are you going to stay? Where are you going to live? Who are you going to stay with? By the way, for those of you who I know are going to start sending me messages, I know you ladies out there, it's okay, Reese, she can stay with us. No, my wife's coming back with me. If she doesn't come back with me, I won't live. She knows that. The dishes will never be done, and I won't feed myself, right? Right, Roseanne? No, I won't, she says. So she's got to go to keep me alive. That's how that works. Hey, don't start. Don't even get in here. Listen, I can admit that I need my wife. I can admit it. You know what it is? I'll tell you what happened before I get to the phone calls. Can I tell you what happened? I didn't get lazy. Your role in my life is a defiance of my mother. Here's what my mother said to me. I'll never forget it. We were doing laundry on 195th Street and Jamaica Avenue in Queens. I think the laundry's still there. We were folding laundry, and my mother said, hey, boy, get over here. Fold this sheet. Fold that over there, too. And there I am, of course, as any other preteen kid, not wanting to do this. It's like, why do I have to do this? Isn't this your job? In my head, she'd have punched me in the face if I said that out loud. But I start folding, and my mother looks at me. I'll never forget it. She says, now, boy, you need to learn how to do this because you may not have a woman to do it for you. That's what she said. And you got to learn how to cook, and you're going to have to lean because you probably ain't going to have no woman. So I always took that as my mother calling me ugly. I took that as my mother saying, listen, boy, You don't have any discernible skills. You ain't got any discernible skills, and you're barely surviving. To be honest with you, we do everything to keep the zoo from keeping you when we go. So just in case nobody finds you lovable, you've got to learn to do these things yourself, or you won't survive out there. And I wanted to prove my mom wrong. So I got married 4 times so I could make sure no matter what, that there was a woman there to do those things. I'm kidding. Nobody believed that. I'm just kidding. How's it working out for me? Yeah, the last wife I had, what'd you say? Yeah, Roland, you're reading the room before the room. Yes, that's right. That's why I'm on my 4th. And when I get to the 4th one, that's the one who isn't domesticated. Not in the least. Hates laundry, hates cooking, hates housework. Bro. Yeah, exactly. Irony indeed. 860-522-WTIC. Let's take some phone calls before we get up out of here. Fred in Middletown. How are we doing, sir?
Hey, I'm good. I just wanted to drop a quick dollop of Daiquat on William Tong. So I have never publicly professed friendship with him, and I do not have a radio program. But if I did have a radio program and I had professed personal friendship with William Tong, I would wear a bag over my head to work tomorrow morning. Okay? And you're doing Grand Slam broadcasting there. You're clearing the bases yesterday and today. That's it. Thank you.
You got it. Thank you, boss man. Let's go to my good friend, always controversial, but adored nonetheless. White Mike is in the house. My wife just went, ugh.
Well, first of all, I think the reason Tim in Hamden doesn't want to come down is he knows he can't control himself in the presence of your vintage chocolatey goodness.
You might be right about that. What's going on with you?
Well, dude, I was watching the news last night, and this story about the Cracker Barrel debacle hit my eyeballs.
Yes. Oh, did you hear the other? Did you hear the other changes that white people will now have to eat at the back of the restaurant?
You know, they took the logo and they took the cracker out of Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
And I want to know, at what point are we going to stop letting women run stuff and make decisions in business? Because this is like the 3rd or 4th time some crazy woke liberal-ass woman has ruined something good.
You know what? I was talking to my boss today, and she is outraged. This was what her concern was. She said that she doesn't see a lot of conversation about women CEOs as much as they used to. And as she was, sort of laying out like what she's seeing in sort of corporate world, like it used to be a priority that we had more and more women in a corporate standing. As she was talking about it, I was saying to myself, but there have been some conversations about women who have been in charge who have kind of taken the organizations in the wrong direction. And I think what you're talking about is what we saw with Bud Light. And
let's do the most one. How about Star Wars?
Yes.
A woman ruined Star Wars. Ruined it. Killed it. Burned the corpse and spat on it.
But I think that's the counter to the story. Is that the reason why there hasn't been a lot of conversation about women CEOs or being in charge with things is because I guess the theme has been, as far as news cycles go, that they're not keeping with the original idea, and they take them in these directions that always hurt the brand.
Well, dude, anybody who's ever lived with a woman knows nothing's ever good enough, and everything has to change. Women will redecorate your house 6 times in 6 years just because it's not good enough. And you get that look in business. They don't understand that people go to Cracker Barrel because they want to go to freaking Cracker Barrel. They don't want to see rainbow painted rocking chairs for sale, which happened, by the way.
Oh, did that really?
Same old Cracker Barrel. They want to see the same logo, the same food, the same old style cabin stuff there, not this IKEA rebrand. And did you see her, dude? Come on, man. Why do they all have the same look? They all have the thick black glasses. Her name, Julie Fells Messino. The Fells is the part you have to understand about her that tells you why she did this. Okay? Messino's not the name. Her name is Fells, and Fells is an Ashkenazic pronunciation of the German word Phelps. So we know where she is.
So do you think that's indicative of why she's coming from this woke place is because of her genealogy?
Yeah, duh. Do you not understand anything about communism and socialism?
I'm just asking. I'm sorry. Sometimes I believe that a thing is a thing, and sometimes it's not a thing. I'm just asking. You have to be enraged at me.
It is endemic to their people, which is why they've been kicked out of 109 freaking countries throughout history.
Well, okay, but let's get back to aside from the Cracker Barrel thing, because you are making a very, very good point. I really do believe that. It's funny. I was reading the Daily Caller on this story because when I covered it, I was going to cover the Daily Caller angle on the story, but I went in another direction. The Daily Caller had the story, and the headline read, "If it ain't broke, break it." And that's what they said about Cracker Barrel.
Why would you hire a person who can't eat pork or bacon to run a company whose main staple is pork and bacon?
I don't know what you're. No, I get it. I would say, okay, let me ask you this. Let's again, aside from Cracker Barrel, I want to use them all in one bucket. I want to paint with a broad brush here, right? What I'm trying to understand is, and people have said the whole thing about ESG and all that other stuff as the reason why they're doing it. You can't have both serve both masters. And what I mean by that is you can't possibly be getting or trying to pursue more money for your stakeholders, for your what's the term I'm looking for? Shareholders. You can't be looking for more money for your shareholders and then doing things that destroy the brand and not have them push back on it.
They hate the customer base.
I don't care that they hate the customer base. I love money more.
No, the chick who did the Bud Light thing hated fratty beer drinking white people.
That's true. Yeah, but if I'm a boss and I see that she hates our customer base, I'm like, you're not helpful. Get out of here. I don't want a vegan selling hamburgers at McDonald's. You got to go.
Kathleen Kennedy hated Star Wars fans because they're a bunch of white dudes, and this chick hates boring Southern white people who eat at Cracker Barrel. She thinks happy and stupid.
This for me, because in one breath, what do liberals say? The only thing corporate folks love is their money. All they care about is making more and more and more of it. And if you look at the actions that they take, Mike, this is the antithesis of making more money. They're killing their brand.
Bro, if I win the lottery, I'm going to buy a Jewish deli, and I'm going to hang up Confederate flags and NASCAR crap everywhere.
You're the worst person in the world, and that's why I love you. All right, buddy. You got it. White Mike, ladies and gentlemen. You can't get better than him. My wife, what? Okay, you sent me okay, I just read it. Excuse me. He is the most controversial man in the world, and that's why I love having him on. He kills it every time. This just says, Anthony is... Oh, okay. Congratulations go out to Anthony W. in Windsor. He is the winner of the family 4-pack of tickets to go see the Yard Goats on August 26th. So congratulations on winning that. Thank you for reminding me. I totally would have forgotten that before I got out of here. So enjoy that with your family. I wish I could be here to go. But I'm not going to be. Well, listen, that's going to change. I'm just not going to get there. But by the way, whose jersey is this over here, Roland? Whose jersey is that? Is it Brian's? Most likely. Okay. Let him know I stole it. No, I'm kidding. But Yard Goats, can I get a jersey? I want the green one, the vintage one. And I don't even rock green like that. But I want that jersey because it looks good. Let's take our last but not least. Thomas in Thomaston. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm well, man. That white Mike, he boils my my blood, man. He needs to be called anti-Semite, Mike.
Hold on. He is not. That's not fair, Tom. Here's what he's saying.
He is.
No, he's not. He does not. I'm telling you, he isn't. Every time he talks about that, and that's what he does, the objective is to have a conversation about the art, like, in other words, have a conversation about the conversation. And people are always going to view it as being quote unquote anti-Semite. But here's the problem that I always have with that, right? we can have a conversation. Okay, I'll give you this example. Negro nonsense. They're considered a protected class, but because I point out that they're doing something that is obviously detrimental to, if not to society, but to people, they immediately say, instead of dealing with the issue, they immediately call you anti-black or racist, or in my case, an Uncle Tom. What Mike is doing is saying, can we have a conversation without it always being, you can't talk about them, otherwise you're an anti-Semite?
But Reese, he brought up the fact that he implies she's Jewish and they ruin everything. That's basically
But
what he said.
Yeah. Again, it is a controversial opinion that, again, this is my point. I said this to people before, and I'll ask you, Tom, before we get out of here. It's a controversial decision, but you have to ask yourself, what are you willing to eliminate when it comes to free speech? Is it some speech, all speech, a little bit of speech? It is controversial, and I know it is. And people could come to me all day and just say, I can't believe you let him say that. It's not about letting anybody say that. I will never have him disparage people to the point where he's calling for anybody's harm or anything like that. But yeah, it's a controversial statement, but it's protected. That's my point.
Well, I agree with that. And
okay.
I'm not saying you should ban it. I'm just saying call him for what he is. He's an anti-Semite. He's totally wrong. It was totally wrong on the Jewish land when you and I both schooled him on how much land the Jews offered the Palestinians. And, hey, I bet you he was one of those guys that said, oh, look at this picture of this starving Palestinian when he turned
out he didn't buy it. He didn't buy it, Tom. He didn't buy it. He didn't buy it. I got to get up out of here, but I always appreciate you, big guy. Tom, when Mike calls at the end, Tom's got to jump in. I don't blame him. We got to get up out of here. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese On The Radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. Hartford Superior Court tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Reese On The Radio will be there. Will you? I don't know. We'll see. Let's get out of here. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night, sir.
Hey, Reese, thank you. I talked to my wife, and all the household chores, cooking is her least favorite.
Oh, okay.
But she's a very good cook, so.
Okay.
So when so that's what she told me was her least favorite.
Okay, usually cooking is in the top one or two.
There's a lot of because there's a lot of prep and a lot of time and a lot of cleanup. So yeah, I can see where that's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Hey, Reese, have a great night. If you're southbound 91, look for delays from exit 37 in Windsor down to between exit 36 and 35. An accident on the right shoulder there. As you slow, if you're moving beyond that,